Hey everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Multiverse, the DC Comics podcast from MailFuzz TV. I am Peter, and I'm joined, as per usual, with Matt.
Hey, what's up?
Also, here's Connor.
Yeah, I made it.
Oh, yeah, he's back this week because you were missing. Were you
Was
missing
I?
last week? No, it was the week before you were missing.
That was 2 weeks ago.
It was 2 weeks ago.
Was.
Yeah, it's just okay. I remembered you'd be gone, but apparently that was too. I'm longing after those happy memories of him not being here. That's what that
I
is.
think I was hungover last week.
Sounds right. Sounds about right.
Sounds
Arrow's
plausible.
back, so we can just say that anytime
Oh,
we record this.
I was going on a
be
break for the next
sober.
couple of weeks, so he'll be nice and spry.
Stone sober.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So yeah, we talk about comic books, DC comic books specifically on this show, and what's coming up in this week's episode. We have Batman number 40, Superman number 40, Justice League 38, Green Lanterns 40, Green Arrow 37, Nightwing 38, Deathstroke 28, Swamp Thing Winter Special number 1, and Batman White Knight number 5. The Young Monsters in Love book one shot did come out this week, but we are going to talk about that next week, just to split up the 80-page Giants up a little bit. Not that Matt cares, because Matt's not going to be here next week. But
No, I'm going to Magic Mountain. I'm going to meet Superman. I'm going to ride Lex Luthor Drop of Doom. It's going to be great.
Mm-hmm. He's off doing things. But hey, so we'll do that next week because it's actually Valentine's next week. But that is the books coming up this week. We also have some news to discuss because DC like to give us something worthwhile. I mean, this isn't as big as maybe the last 2 weeks in terms of a discussion point of view because I feel like Superman on Bendis, No Justice announcement, those were all big meaty things that were,
Superman on Bendis, huh? That was a Freudian slip.
Bendis on Superman. Hey, you know what? I'm fine. Yeah, I'll make mistakes. It's cool. We'll do that at Hams.
Yeah,
A lot.
Played it out.
You shut your ginger face, you menace. I'll start making loud noises to upset your hangover.
I haven't got one. I'm good.
Yeah, likely story. It's all a lie. He doesn't want us to think he's got a drinking problem, so he's trying to pretend that he's okay this week.
That's the first step of knowing you have a drinking problem is when you try to mask the drinking problem by saying you don't have one.
But does he believe it? Does he deep down
I
believe
think
it?
he does. I mean, if you look behind his shoulder, right here, you see
That's
all
not
of his
all of it.
vices.
Some of it's in the
know.
kitchen from last night.
Yeah, you're not helping your case by saying that's not all of it. There's more.
Hey, there's a cupboard
Exactly.
full of things. I've got multiple bottles in a cupboard as well.
You fell right into my trap.
Look, there is nothing having a problem about having a variety of drinks and liking different things.
No, I wasn't suggesting otherwise.
Look how full those are. You can still see below the label on all of those bottles.
Yeah, but we can't see above the label either, so we don't know how exactly full they are.
Well, yeah, but some of them have been there since Christmas.
Yeah, 5 whole weeks.
Well, all right, fine. One of them's been there since, one of them's the Viking whiskey, which I got like 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah, me and Connor had a good discussion on Twitter about that. That was fun.
Oh dear. Alright, so talk about comics.
Pricks.
DC Comics podcast. This is episode 90, guys. 90. We're getting close to that milestone. So we're going to all the books, but obviously, like I say, we had some news. We even had some movie news this week, which we'll mention briefly after the DC Comics news. So a couple of quick things before we get to the meaty part, right? A couple of quick little. This is just teases. This seems to happen a lot, where there'll be like just a writer or an artist will just mention something on Twitter, and it'll be like, oh, that's news because they're hinting at something. So we got a couple of those this week. So we know Lee Weeks is joining Batman at some point. I think it specifically said what issue it was. I'll have the tweet in front of me. But
I don't see the issue.
Yeah,
I'm glancing at the article about it.
But he's joining for an arc soon. I imagine it'll be after the Poison Ivy one that I know.
Jan's on. Coming up in the next issue.
So I think the arc he's on is the one right before the wedding. So I think it's like 45 to I guess 49, something in that range. But hey, we know Jan's actually going over to Justice League after this. So yeah, bring in Lee Weeks. That's just good artists just gravitate towards Tom King, so that's okay. I'm okay with this.
Which artist was working on the new villain? Do you remember?
Oh,
That was Joel Jones, wasn't it?
The new villain?
Okay. Yeah. I remember. King had he was gonna introduce his own villain.
Yeah.
For the first time instead of using an established, and it got pushed. Was that Jones?
No, what it was is I think it's the one that we've had introduced in this arc, but they're not a villain yet.
Okay.
Oh,
but
okay.
it was introducing them in this story because this was the extra story that wasn't originally planned, and he got Joelle Jones in for it.
Gotcha.
Well, do you mean the one before this two-part story?
No, this two-part story.
But no, it's the one before this two-part story that was brought forward because it was meant to be coming later.
I don't think it was.
It was, because they had to push so Joelle Jones could finish her art. They wanted to have her art on the Wonder Woman
maybe
issues.
it was that then. I don't know. There wasn't any villains in that, though, was there?
Well, it's
yes, there was
the
one
kid.
major villain.
Yeah.
No, but new was there? New villain.
Yes.
He's new, right?
Oh, okay. I'm forgetting, clearly. It's been a month.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
What?
He doesn't have a drinking problem.
Yeah. Yeah, sure, yeah.
No, that's not a drinking problem. That's just a memory problem.
Yeah. Oh, you're so young. You don't get to start having memory issues.
Oh, dear. Alright, so Lyrics is coming on Batman, which was the point of that story. Matt set us off down a path, and then Connor just drove us into a ditch. The other thing being teased is Liam Sharp. We know he's doing Brave and the Bold. He's writing and doing the art for that. That's starting this month. But he teased on Twitter that he already has his next project lined up at DC, and he said it is mind-blowing. Which means it could be basically anything except Wonder Woman. Because Wonder Woman wouldn't be mind-blowing, because that's just, that's what he's been doing for a long time.
It's on brand. Yeah.
So he's whatever it is, he's excited about it. So it could be a Justice League book. It could be something else that we don't even know.
I'm trying to see what plays to his strengths, right? And
I think it depends on whether or not he's writing as well, which we don't know yet. And that will depend once I see his writing style in Brave and the Bold. I'll be able to guess a bit better.
Well, no, because I would guess he's not writing this, whatever it is.
I think it's
Why?
Because he's doing this miniseries and he's writing the whole thing and doing the art. I feel like once he's done that, he'll go back to just doing art for a while. That's just my guess. It's not like a strong...
I think that's kind of baseless because I know that he's written some novels. So
I don't know. I think he'll go back to because it'll be an easier schedule. Because if he's
as a person that's done some writing, I'm always jealous of those writers that can also draw. Like, because I can't do that. Like I've tried and it doesn't work out.
Yeah, I can't draw either.
No,
I can't really write either, to be fair. But we're just talentless hacks. That's basically the edge of that story. No, I would guess. My guess, perhaps just maybe my hope, is that he's on an ongoing again. That he's an artist on an ongoing. That would be my guess. / hope.
Yeah, and if it goes monthly too, it would be easier for him to keep up because that's what was great about his Wonder Woman stuff. It was every other. It was monthly, so...
Yeah.
Thinking about plays with strengths, it's usually like stuff with swords and primal type stuff, so I wonder if it's mind-blowing because it's against type, so if he's doing some type of,
I just
future
think,
kind of thing.
I think it's maybe a big character. I mean, just talking about his style and what it would fit, I actually think he'd probably be really good in Swamp Thing, actually. Obviously we got the Winter Special this week, but I'm just thinking about... he had a lot of stuff in the jungle with Wonder Woman, and he seems to be doing a lot of that sort of stuff again with Brave and the Bold. So I think he'd fit well with that. But is that mind blowing? I don't know if that is mind blowing, but he's excited. He's excited, and that's good. So we'll see what he ends up working on. So the big thing though, this week though, in terms of news, is DC announced 2 new imprints, graphic novel imprints, which are aimed at younger readers. One is aimed at the young, and then the other is aimed at teens. So young adult and young readers. That's kind of the 2 ways you break it down. DC Inc. is the young adult section of this, and they've announced a bunch of books for this. I'll tell you what those are. We've got Batman Gotham High, which is by Melissa De La Cruz, and that is So. There's no descriptions for a lot of these. These are just titles with names.
That sounds like X-Men Evolution, but set in Gotham, and I will be reading that probably. I'm a sucker for that stuff.
You have Batman Nightwalker. That has Maria Lou involved. You have Teen Titans, which is just Teen Titans. Cami Garcia is involved in that. You have Under the Moon, a Catwoman tale. Lauren Myrisel? I'm not sure how I pronounce her last name. You have Wonder Woman Tempest Tossed, which is Laurie Halsey Anderson working on that. So that's all the DC Inc. ones so far. So those are the teen books, right? And it mentions that all the teen books, all the DC Inc., they're going to be 192 pages for about $16.99. That'll be their price in bookstores. So They're going after the teens with those, and then the Zoom books, which are the young reader books, they're 128 pages for $9.99, which makes sense because I think parents are more likely to splurge on them if they're a bit cheaper, they're a bit shorter, easy to go for. Makes a lot of sense. The DC Zoom books, we have Batman Tales, Once Upon a Crime. That's both writer and Derek Friedoff's writing and Dustin Wynn is the art. We have Batman Overdrive, which is Shia Fontana. We have Black Canary Ignite, which is Meg Chabot. And then we have Dear Justice League, that's Michael Northrop doing that. We have Green Lantern Legacy, which is Min Lee doing that. We have Super Sons, which makes a lot of sense to have a Super Sons book. Ridley Pearson's doing that. We have Superman of Smallville, which is Art Baltazar and Franco doing that, who worked on Tiny Titans apparently. And then there's the one that I think everyone remembers the most out of this list because of the title, is Superman Smashes the Klan. Jean Lun Yang's doing that.
Yeah. By the way, you've missed a couple on this list as well. Because I know the way you've copied is from the list. There was some included in the paragraphs as well.
Oh, go on then.
So for ink, we also have... Where's the ink paragraph? The first one was Mirror by Daniel Page.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And then second one, Harley Quinn Breaking Glass by Mariko Tamaki and art by Steve Pugh.
Alright, okay.
And then for the Zoom, the other one that we've got in the paragraph was DC Superhero Girls is continuing with Search for Atlantis from Shea Fontana. Yeah,
and the first 3 books are all coming out this fall, so they're all starting later this year. Which is cool. I mean, obviously, I don't think we have necessarily a lot of opinions on the books they've announced themselves, although I think Matt might want to talk about Superman Smashes the Klan. But I think it's just good news. I think it's good that they're trying to, grab readers while they're young and sort of get a new audience.
Yeah, something about the wording on Superman Smashes the Klan. That one points out that one will be released as periodicals first and then collected. I don't know if that applies to all of the DC Zoom books because that happens to be at the end of the list.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
they specifically mentioned this is graphic novels. These lines. That one just was an exception for some reason. They're doing that as single issues first, which. I'm not sure why, because I think, generally speaking, I think the idea to grab young readers with graphic novels is a better idea because they ain't buying single-issue comic books. They aren't subscribing to series.
It's because they know that one's Jin Yang and the title will appeal to people like us, and specifically Matt. So we'll pick it up in months.
Oh, yeah, no, that may be the reason. I'm not really criticising their choice there. I'm just saying that's why I think it's smarter that the rest aren't doing that, because that's kind of... Yeah, kids aren't buying single issues anymore. They just don't.
No, so we talked about this earlier in the week, and I remember my first 2 comics that I bought. Funnily enough, they were an X-Men special and an issue of Wade's Flash back in the 90s. But that was when you could find comics in a grocery store on a newsstand. And you don't see that anymore. The newsstand is slowly disappearing at grocery stores.
In fact, Matt, there was a story this week. No one really noticed until now, apparently. But in the middle of 2017, DC quietly stopped sending anything to newsstands. That was the end of it for DC.
Yeah. So
I'm surprised.
I didn't even realise they were still doing it, but apparently it didn't actually officially completely end until 2017.
I mean, the fact that no one noticed until now kind of tells you how little it matters.
What's that?
Yeah.
Well, and even at Barnes & Noble, which is the only bookstore left standing out here anyways, they used to get single comics they put on the newsstands, and now it's all they get is trades and graphic novels, and they have their own section. So again, the newsstand is slowly disappearing as it is. So
I know it's great. Some game stores are starting to get in single issues. You know how a lot of gaming stores are expanding into pop culture things in general.
Yeah, because games are going digital. Yeah, it's just games are going digital, and the game stores are terrified, so they're trying to stock other things that they might actually be able to sell.
I'm seeing a lot of them get in single issues now, replacing the newsstand, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that could be a way forward, but I think that's just through direct market, and it's not...
Oh, it will be, yeah.
And I think... And this is why kids don't get single issues. First of all, it's hard to keep up with them if you're a kid, and you don't have the agency to actually keep track, and because I remember as a kid, I hated... my parents didn't seem to care the idea of missing one of something. I'm not even talking about comics. I'm just talking about oh, you missed an episode of a TV show. It doesn't matter. It's no, it does. Every episode in order. God damn it. And that's just my personality, and that infuriated me as a kid. So So that's the reason why kids aren't getting single issues. Is they're just in comic shops, which kids don't necessarily all have access to. Like, they're not everywhere.
No.
Yeah, no. I remember, like, as a kid, you know, those magazines that would come with things that over time you would build something out of. Like, you'd get like a piece every issue, but there was never a firm date on when the issues would come out next. So you just kind of go into the newsagents and check if it's there or not.
The Dark Ages.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I don't remember any of this.
Oh, it's awful. I hate all of it. But no,
this is good news for, like, I have 2 younger nieces that are reading level, and they're really into the DC superhero girls right now. You know, so the fact now that there's gonna be more of the stuff, and now I have also instant presents to get them. You know, like, new DC Ink, you know, or DC Zoom book comes out. Here you go, enjoy. You know,
do you get them like one copy between them and they have to share it, or do you get them like one?
No, I haven't yet. My one younger niece is a complete and total savage, so I have yet to do the outside of actual books. You know, but you know what helps is they have all the DC superhero girls toys and whatnot. And my older niece had asked, because she knows that I read comics. They're all over the house when they come to visit. You know, because I just kind of set them up.
Yeah.
When I'm done reading them, because I'm lazy, and don't take them upstairs until the wife yells at me enough. But yeah, so they'd asked, my older niece, she had asked if, hey, do they have comic books of these? And I was like, oh, okay, well, we're gonna go next time you come over. We're gonna go look. So this news coming out totally excites me for that. This is building a new generation. You know?
I think. It's funny, Peter said at the start of this that this news isn't as big as some of the last few weeks.
Whoa. Let me clarify that. Let me clarify that statement. It's not as big to us to talk about. That's what I meant. I didn't mean it wasn't a big deal in other ways.
Yeah, I was going to say, because for the industry, I think this is bigger than everything else that we've had.
Oh, no, it is. Absolutely is. I just purely meant in terms of us talking about plot points. Because, you know, last 2 weeks, we were talking about all these things, you know, what does No Justice mean? What's Superman going to do with Bendis? Yeah. For us, that's bigger news, because for us, that's what we dig into and really talk about. Yeah. This is big news, but it's just not as big for us as a
bigger. I know, I just want to pick apart what you said. Yeah. I felt like it would be fun.
He was taking his shots.
But I said that. I started with saying that, though. I actually said that in the introduction of it.
Also, I've seen some idiotic blowback against this, which is just like, well,
from
who? Nintendo. The internet's full of dark and terrible places.
And I know our friend James in the thread where we were discussing this posted some tweets. Someone is a tweet. Is your company doomed? Have you mismanaged your valuable assets and source material? Have you alienated your dedicated paying customers?
Who could possibly have a problem with this? This does not affect anything else that you. If you only
because Pete, if you as a company aren't catering directly to me as one person, then you're failing.
Like, this is the thing. If this was replacing some of your mainline stuff, okay, sure, I'd still understand because it's a variety, but I'd still be. I get why you'd be annoyed at your level of like, okay, I'm losing my stuff. Yeah, but you're not. You've still got everything you just had.
No, there's not a smidge of that. There's not even a smidge of anything being replaced by this.
No. Well, it reminds me of Nintendo. What is it? The Labo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When they announced that, the blowback against that, I was like, wait. It's getting kids interested in building things. Like you're taking parts of childhood from an older age with this newer age where all they care about is screens and you're combining them. That's brilliant.
It's genius, yeah. And but people are like, well, I don't want to play it. It's like, well then
it's not for you.
Frick. It's not for you.
Half of these books that were announced, like, okay, cool. I'm not gonna read them, but I'm glad they exist. Like they're gonna take up shelf space next to mine. I think I'll
check out some of them out of curiosity.
Yeah. I mean, given again what they're aimed at, I mean, I feel like we're more likely to check out the Ink stuff than the Zoom stuff, just because it's aged up a little bit. But I mean,
most likely, yeah. But you never know. I think it's interesting to see if they release these digitally as well. I assume they will, but there is no statement saying that.
They'd be dumb not to, because my 4-year-old.
I don't think they need to release a statement now saying they will, though. I feel like we're at a point now where everything's just day and day.
I agree. Yeah.
No, my 4-year-old nephew knows how to work a tablet better than I do. Like, so the fact, like, if they want to, if my friend and his wife want to get him reading early, I imagine they do it through the tablet. You know, like
yeah. So the first three things starting in the fall of this year. So I mean, a few months and we'll see for ourselves what these are actually going to be like.
Yeah. Christmas season's a good idea as well. Get people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just as the rest of all the lists that we've had will be out in 2019.
No, this makes me wonder about the other company, about Marvel, that they have all of these acquisitions, that they would be perfect for something like this. And it makes me wonder if they have something planned, or if it's all licensed out. I'm talking like Disney.
Well, that's the thing. They don't do any Disney books, really. I think we've had one in the last 2 years. And
yeah, well, they were doing Disney park stuff because Williamson did a Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
But that really wasn't geared towards young readers. They'd also done an Enchanted Tiki Room, but again, not targeted. That was kind of for everybody. It was in all ages.
They don't really do anything. Obviously, DC, this is the big new push, but they've had things like DC Superhero Girls and Tiny Titans, Little Gotham. They've had those for a few years now.
Yeah, perfect. You have a Star Wars license. You have the Disney stuff. Like, you think like you could do these books too?
Well, that's the thing. The Star Wars kids books, they're not doing themselves. They farm those out to some IDW, I think, someone. Anyway.
Yeah. So it's weird.
Like, it's crazy where even Dark Horse has Itty Bitty Hellboy.
Yeah.
And Marvel has nothing.
For the young kids who want to get into Hellboy at an early age.
Hey, Tim had to start somewhere, right? Like...
The only other thing I want to say about this is a stupid thing, but the logos for both of them, in the logo for DC Zoom, they've got the DC logo in one of the O's, right? So it's it's DC Zoom. In the ink one, they've got the DC logo in front of it, so because the other one has that as an O, it looks like oink.
It's supposed to be the dot above the I.
It looks like oink. It's not right above it though.
It is right above it. I'm looking at it now.
It looks like oink.
It doesn't. It
looks like oink.
An eye. It's a bit big for the dot of an eye, but it doesn't look like oink.
It looks like oink. Matt, are you going to pick a side? Are you going to look at it?
I feel like he's
I don't
looking
care.
to the side.
I don't care. I'm ready for Superman Smashes the Klan. So that's all I care about right now.
Does it look like oink, Matt? Look at it and tell me. Does it look like oink?
I'm not looking at it. I'm on a Superman Smashes the Klan thing because I'm reading that. So that's what I'm scrolling through. I'm Switzerland, guys. I'm not getting involved. Who wants to give me money to hold?
I do like those little pieces of art they put out because there's the one for the Zoom. You got like Supergirl, Hawkgirl, and then you got Shazam and Simon Baz all sitting there with the kids. It's like, yeah, okay, I get what you're aiming at. Are you looking it up to see if you changed your mind?
I'm not going to change my mind. But I'm I want to look at it.
Not on camera, he won't. Look at him staring intently at it.
Nah, it still looks like oink. It's the way the letters kind of make a sort of semicircle, so it doesn't feel like it's naturally the dot of the I. It feels like it's the letters going in a sort of arc.
But that's the thing. The N's slightly lower, but the I and the K are just level. So
the K are not level. Well, they kind of are, but that's because they're back up the arc. The arc goes back up the way. That makes complete sense to me.
So I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it right now, and I still don't care.
Matt, you can have an opinion but not really care. You can do that.
Yeah, which one does it look like? Is all.
Looks like ink to me.
Matt, god damn it! This is the perfect time to debut Matt's new button, which our patron David Short made for us, because the Connor one's not really that insulting anymore, so we had to update it. So here's the new Matt button for those in the video. I'll explain for the audio in a second. My only disappointment is that I can't quite see Matt's face behind.
Yeah. That's what you get for not resizing it. You wanted it to be a surprise, and it was a surprise.
Did you know about this, Matt?
He told me there was a new one, and I've been trying to egg him on throughout the early, but finally it took not agreeing it looks like oink, which weird.
Well, like Team Oink is going to be a thing. I want to know who agrees with me that it looks like the word Oink. All I can see now is Oink whenever I look at that logo.
That's the entire comment section for this video.
Yeah.
Picking a side, Ink or Oink.
I didn't hate Jason enough.
Well, for context,
really sets it over.
For the audio folk who are not seeing this, now on the screen above Matt's face, it is now saying my favourite Wonder Twin is Jason.
That's brilliant.
Connor needs a new one too.
Mine's timeless, unfortunately.
I don't know. What would Connor's new one be? It's Oink, you ginger asshole. I was going to say something else there.
Turn that down a little bit there.
That's likely something that would have been said on HBO's Oz. The whole thing.
Alright.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. A couple of quick movie things we'll mention before we get to the books.
I suppose we should.
We should mention them. First thing was Joaquin Phoenix is apparently very close to signing on for this standalone Joker movie that's outside of the regular DC movie continuity. It's a standalone film, and Joaquin Phoenix is apparently in line for it. I don't think he's a bad choice to play the Joker, but I still don't know why there was a standalone Joker movie happening.
Because money.
Yeah.
Well, that was some hot takes, guys.
You know, Tommy Wiseau wanted to play the Joker too, which I'm 100% behind.
That's a better choice. Not that I think Joaquin Phoenix is a bad choice. I think he's a good choice, but I don't care about the movie. That would make me care about this movie.
Yeah, me too.
What a story, Batman.
God, I want that so bad.
That's the thing. Him laughing at that story about the girl getting beat up actually makes more sense if he's a Joker.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? God,
I want this to exist.
You're making me want to watch The Room again, and that's not a good thing.
You're tearing me apart, Harley!
Harley. There you go. Oh, God. But yeah, so there's that. There's also possibly news that I could not care less about is Michael Bay wanting to direct a Lobo movie.
Oh,
so
God.
Do with that what you think.
Kill it with fire.
I only read the headline for this. Is this him wanting to direct?
No, it's not. It's not wanting.
Probably going to.
No, it's apparently he's spoken with a screenwriter about it. He's actually there's reasons to say why it's actually might be a thing. It's not like Tommy Wiseau just saying, "Oh, I'd like to be the Joker."
Yeah.
But
how bad is it that the most enjoyable piece of DC movie news is that?
Well, we also have apparently the Nightwing script is almost done. That's getting handed out soon.
But it's not on the same level.
Well, and Shazam, they put out a synopsis and
they've started shooting. Yeah.
It started shooting this week. So that right there, just the tone of that, it feels like a tone shift with what that synopsis had said. It would seem to be about wonder and joy and not.
I still don't know if that's meant to be in a different universe or not.
Well, rumors that I've read too say that Cavill wants to, or Cavill, however you pronounce it, I alternate. He wants to make a cameo appearance. So
that would solidify it. Yeah.
Yeah, 100% down, and it would allow someone to have a take on Superman.
Plus, he'll have got rid of that mustache by now.
Yeah. We saw the offending film, the Super Bowl trailer for Mission Impossible. We saw the mustache. It's
a pretty glorious mustache.
Under that mustache better be some kind of like code that he can't shave it, or it gives away the movie for it to make such a hubbub. Because I feel like they were just trolling DC at that point.
Oh, they definitely were. They were like no.
No, it was a power play. It was nothing but a power play. Like, we don't have to shave it. He's contracted for us, so we're not letting you shave it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but no, I'm always down to see Henry Cavill and other things, and especially if he can be Smiley Superman for 10 minutes in Shazam.
That'd be nice. Yeah. Can't
please.
Can't fault that. Is that all the movie?
That's all I have.
So what we have is a Joker movie no one cares about. A Lobo movie that no one cared about and now actively care even less about. And Shazam's probably going to be cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are Lobo fans out there.
Yeah.
They do exist.
That's always a weird one to me.
So
when I hear someone say that Lobo's their favorite DC character, I'm just like, what an odd creature you are.
I can't wait for the day someone tells me the new 52 Lobo's their favorite character.
Yeah.
No, there's no one of them out there, surely.
I mean, I love Guy Gardner, so who knows?
Also, here's the thing, right? Why does the I have the dot above it when the N and the K are capitals, right? Just to get back to the crux of the matter.
So that they can have the logo in the circle. That's the only reason.
Right? That's why it looks like oink. Is the all letters are capital, so you can't tell me that the I is lowercase, right? Nonsense.
It is lowercase, but it shouldn't be. I agree, it's wrong, but it is.
Hey Matt, did you like the new Jurassic World Super Bowl spot?
Oh,
the trailer?
Man.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Matt, an Indoraptor.
Connor's not wanting to watch it, so he's avoiding the spoilers, Matt. Before you start going on details.
It's cool. I just muted him for a second.
Oh yeah, okay. All I'll say, Matt, is I'm happy that the relationship between man and raptor seems to be the heart of the film. I'm all for it.
Which I feel you should be, because when I feel like if the first one was Jurassic Park again, this could be like Jurassic World again, but you could actually add that heart there.
I thought you mean the Lost World, Matt.
The Lost World. That's what I meant.
Jurassic World again. Yeah, well, that's Jurassic World 2. It's supposed to.
I was getting ahead of myself because I was thinking about awesome scenes that Connor hasn't seen because he's behind a spoiler wall.
What about that one little moment where Chris Pratt like jumps through the T-Rex mouth in the truck or whatever it is, and he's like diving through it? Yeah, that was a good trailer. I feel like Jurassic World had shit trailers, but I ended up liking the movie. Hopefully,
still not a fan of what they did to the song. They make it super screechy with whatever effects they do with the Jurassic Park theme.
Oh, I'm okay with the horror version of the theme for the trailer.
It's like nails on a chalkboard to me. I don't know. It's just like anytime I've seen the trailer a couple times in theaters, and it sends shivers down my spine. Maybe that's the point though.
That is the point. Yeah, it's effective. That's good.
But yeah, scrolling through Facebook one morning, I found there's this group that wanted me to like it called the Dinosaur Protection Group. And I'm thinking, it's one of these funny satire sites like Save the Dinos, Say No to Oil, like one of these type things. So I click on it, and the header image is of Bryce Dallas Howard in character. This is her new group. So of course I liked it, and now I get emails from them because I have no self-control.
I love how Carr still got you muted, even though you're not talking about the trailer anymore. It's great.
Oh, fine.
Skyscraper looks ridiculous, but potentially fun. So
Oh, I love all the memes coming out about The Rock making that jump. I was like, he also has a prosthetic leg, guys. Like, it's that movie. Like, let's not.
He's defying physics, even though he only has one leg.
Exactly. Let's.
But I suppose if you're defying physics, it doesn't really matter how many legs you've got, I suppose. But
no, but I'm just saying, like, the fact that this whole movie is the whole trailer is kind of centered around him having a prosthetic leg, like that's getting lost in this zany jump. So it was a good game. Being the solo football fan here, great game, but the trailers really stepped up this year, I feel.
Have you unmuted him now, Connor?
I did. I was checking it out, and then I got to one bit where Matt just went, "I have no self-control."
Yeah, he was talking about how he signed up for some Facebook group that's about saving dinosaurs, and it went on a path.
I heard that, and then I heard, he's only got one leg. I was like, they're on the skyscraper.
See? I've had so many friends talk crap about that movie. I'm just like, shut up, just let me have this, okay? I like bad rock movies. All right?
Honestly, I love everything about that trailer. It looks dumb as shit, but I love everything about it.
You know who's two thumbs and excited for Rampage? This guy.
I'm less.
It looks like it could be fun, but I'm not convinced.
Pete, who loves gigantic gorillas?
I know,
me.
But that's actually the least interesting part about the Rampage trailer for me, though, is that they're focused so much on the gorilla, and I'm like, no, you've got other monsters. Show the other monsters. Like, I've had King Kong already. I don't need more gorillas.
Oh yeah, they've showed the wolf and the iguana at the end of the trailer. So.
Also, I don't remember an iguana, but I remember a wolf.
Wolf that can fly.
Yeah, because...
Well, it's not iguana. They turned it into a crocodile in the movie, but it was Iggy in the original game. I spent so many quarters on that game growing up.
This is a video game that Matt's played that I've not. This is
same. Oh, yeah. It's surreal.
Any side scroller smash 'em up I played. So like the X-Men arcade game, Rampage, I'm trying to think of some others. Double Dragon.
Actually,
that really wasn't an arcade game.
That one was good.
To swing this back into comics before we get to our regular books, I did read X-Men Red this week, since Matt brought up X-Men.
How was that?
I quite liked it. Tom Taylor's a good writer. I like his voice for Jean. I like the team. I like the plot. I love that Honey Badger and Laura are there. Like, they're part of the team as well, so...
Next time I go to the shop, I'm going to have to pick it up, because I passed this week because I had so many other books, and I couldn't justify the $5 for this, even though I bought all the other Phoenix Resurrections, but I felt like that was an event kind of deal, especially.
I think I like this more. I mean, admittedly, it's a little bit when I should, but I like Phoenix Resurrection, but I feel like I'm liking what they're doing with this, because she tries to solve problems a different way, and then other things come in that, you know.
I like that they seem they want to distance Jean from the Phoenix, which I feel like, at least through my comic readership of the last 20 years, she's been so intertwined.
Yes, it's
It'll
time.
Be nice to see.
It's time for a change. I agree. So, no. And Honey Badger's the best. So, with that said, shall we actually get on to this week's...
let's do it.
The DC books.
Yes, the Detective Comics. That's what's coming up. So, yeah, books. Let's talk about DC books. Finally. Hey, we got there about just over 30 minutes, which is different from last week, which took about 50 minutes to get to the books. So, you know...
How long did it take the week before that?
Oh, it was shorter, because 50 was beating the record.
But it was longer than 30, right?
Yeah, it was like 42 or something like that the week before.
Yeah, that's because you weren't there, though. Had you been there, it probably would have gone 55.
Yeah, because we had all the No Justice stuff, so it probably would have been longer. Yeah, no, there's some truth to this. So yeah, let's talk about books. So we'll start with, what would you call it? Batman. That's the book, right?
Whatchamacallit? That one book with the guy that wears silly suit.
And Pete thinks he's a professional.
When have I ever said that?
You think it.
Sir, anything but professional. You should know this.
Yeah, come on now. Batman 40, Tom King writing, Joelle Jones on the art. This is the second part of the two-part Wonder Woman section, sub-arc of the Super Friends arc. We got sub-arcs within our arcs. So, obviously, we're a little bit more down in the last issue compared to what we normally are with Tom King's Batman. We ended on that weird cliffhanger where they're in this, the edge of the universe, and they're fighting the everlasting horde, and the time works differently, so they've been there for years, and Batman and Wonder Woman look like they're about to kiss, and we're like, yeah, obviously it'll probably be, like, they'll circumvent that quickly, and sure enough, in this issue, they're close to kissing, then they start laughing, and say, hey, this is stupid, right? Like, yeah, this is pretty stupid. So that was quickly dealt with, as kind of expected.
Part of me wishes King sort of went for it. Like,
really?
Subvert our expectations. It's in a world where time is meaningless, like...
It's one of those that you lose either way, because if you do the cliffhanger and back out like you do here, it just feels, why do we even bother? It was just cheap. If you do go for it, it's like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
I think just having it there at all is the problem.
But I feel like the why are we doing this because they did do it at least is an interesting turn versus the... we're going to tease it and make a cliffhanger out of it.
Yeah, but the reason why everyone was so upset about it is because it was kind of like just a story we didn't want. Like, it was going down a path that we just didn't want to see. Like,
yeah. But if that's the case, then own into it. Like, lean into it. Don't pull away at the last second. You know what I mean?
Well, no, because that's because from that argument, it's just like, oh, I started this path, and just do it, stick to your guns. When no, you just the ideal thing would have been not to do it in the first place.
That's the ideal thing, but I think I'm with Matt in the sense that if that's the thing he wanted to tease and go and explore, do that. I might not like it, but I respect that you're going to do that. Here, putting it in as a tease and then backing out immediately is just cheap, and it's like, well, that was just for shock value.
Yeah, but you're looking at this the wrong way around. You're saying that you wanted to do that, so you should stick to it. And I'm saying no, he never wanted to actually go through with it. He just the mistake was putting in this cliffhanger for something he was never going to do in the first place.
Well, yeah, exactly. So if you wanted to do it, you could have just put it in the middle of this issue, because in the middle of this issue we do that time jump around where it goes to the different years that they've been there, and this could have been part of that. The time where he almost failed.
Which, by the way,
instead of building the cliffhanger,
there is a mistake. There's a printing error in those in those pages.
That's what I thought.
Because at one point it's meant to be going sequentially, but they swap 2 of the years around, so it looks like it jumps back again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it goes from year 24 to 19.
Yeah, they're actually in the right order. The numbers at the top are just swapped.
Okay. I thought he was just doing a creative thing where we were just jumping around the time instead of doing it sequentially, which doesn't bother me because it
doesn't matter
even though
much.
They're there, they don't age. You know what I mean? Like,
So obviously the art's still really good. I did like this issue more than the last one because it was like, okay, we've got the awkward cliffhanger out the way. We can just sort of explore the ideas here.
I also like the art here more out of Jones. It just I don't know if it's because of the more real world stuff. It's less. We see less when they're in that other realm. So the stuff with Catwoman and the gentleman, we find out his name is Julian. Like that was pretty cool. I like all that stuff.
I'm going to see his wife and his wife like crying, seeing him, and like Catwoman understanding. Catwoman actually like threatened to kill him or whatever because he lied when she finds out about the whole time difference. Was also enjoyable. I did also enjoy 19 years into the Never-Ending Horde, where they're making fun of Superman. That was enjoyable.
Yeah, he says it every time, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, where else do you go but away when you go up? I thought that was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, the friendly banter as they were fighting was quite good.
Well, you feel like anytime the two are together, they're making fun of the other one. Well, maybe not Clark and Bruce about Diana, although they probably could. But I feel like if Superman and Wonder Woman are together, they're kind of poking fun at Bruce.
Oh, yeah, probably.
That
makes a lot of sense. So no, so it's all about basically the crux of this issue is that Catwoman is giving the gentleman like some time with his wife, but ultimately she's like, okay, it's time to go now, and he wants to stay with his wife for a couple more hours, and she's like, well, how much time is that for them? And he's like, a decade maybe. He's like, no, it's time. We're going now.
Well, what got me was you could feel the sadness when he's like, can I have like another 1 or 2 hours before I have to go back, please? And she has to just harden firm because he tricked them, and yeah, it was. I think this had a little bit more emotional resonance.
Yeah, he even admits that he didn't expect him to say yes if he'd been honest about the time difference.
Yeah.
As good as they are, they probably would have said no. So he tricked anyway because it was worth seeing her. And obviously, like with Catwoman about to be married, she's like sort of thinking about love and marriage and commitment and all the rest of it. And the idea that he keeps going back to his mission even though he's got a wife is it's very Batman. Like Batman, he'll be your husband, but he'll always go back to like fighting the war. Like it's always going to be part of his life.
It's duty, it's kind of what you hear about military families here, when the one person goes over, and then you don't see them for months at a time, or even a year in some cases, but you're still married. You still love that person even if they're not around. So I like that it played with that.
Yeah, no, those parts were. I like the single tear in Catwoman's face when they get back. Broke me a little bit, not gonna lie.
Oh man, Bruce missing all of his pets and kids. I thought this is the Bruce Wayne that I like. I like when he can be vulnerable like this.
And let's not gloss over the kangaroo now, shall we?
No, I miss my kangaroo and just the look on Bruce's face.
But you have a kangaroo?
I love that.
I don't talk about it. Her name is Jumper.
Jumper.
Highlight of the issue, clearly.
Which as I understand, is not a new thing. That is that's a pull from continuity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman's kangaroo named Jumper.
Yeah, that's like Stormy the Seahorse for Aquaman. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that can probably stay defunct. That idea.
I mean, it's silly, but I like when they play with that.
Yeah.
So, oh man, I can't wait for the next Super Pets issue, and we get to see Jumper.
Oh yeah, Jumper needs to add to the mix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god, that'll be something. I like the ending. I like the like you were away for decades with a Wonder Woman. Were you bad? No, I wasn't good enough, but I wasn't bad. I'll do better. Like I kind of like the overall message there. I think this issue was definitely better than the last one. It still has that awkward cliffhanger in the middle, which obviously none of us liked, but. I can see what he was doing here. I can see what the emotional core of the issue was and what the story was supposed to be here.
I get it. I still just found like I didn't really enjoy it that much. I still felt like Wonder Woman was very stilted in a dialogue for me, and that was a problem that carried over.
But it's consistent with it over, so I feel like that's just King's voice for Wonder Woman.
It is, but I don't enjoy reading that, is the problem.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
So ultimately that lowers my enjoyment of this quite a bit.
Yeah, I think I said last time that I just like stilted is very much King's dialogue for everyone, and I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay with like there being a style for all the characters. Even they have different voices, but there's a different. They have like a unified style that fit within his storytelling world, and for me that's kind of where that falls into. But
well, I also like Selena saying, "No, next time he comes, I'm going with you." I like that too. That we're a team now. You know?
And obviously the one thing that unifies this with the previous two-parter from Super Friends is the whole idea at the end of the two parts, Wonder Woman's kind of accepted and understands Selina a little bit more. And that's obviously it was more overt, of course, in the Superman one, because she was like there the whole time talking to Lois and Clark and all the rest of it. But he still had that kind of sentiment at the end where she kind of understood why Bruce was happy by the end of it. So So no, I thought it was pretty good. Obviously, you had the big two-push spread earlier on where they were about to kiss with the fire behind them and they're laughing. That was a nice little moment. But hey, so no, I enjoyed this more. Even if this two-parter might stick out as being a weaker segment of his run, but hey, we'll see what we get to next time. So that'll take us on to Superman number 40. And this surprised me. I think this was in the solicits, but I just forgotten about it. So when I opened up the book, I'm like, oh, James Robinson's writing this issue. Okay, and then Doug Mahnke is on the art. So.
Speaking of seahorses.
Yeah, go on.
No, it's just this whole issue revolves around Superman and Jaun trying to stop, or trying to help a planet that's going to be destroyed like Krypton. But when they get there, it's like a planet of giant sentient seahorses.
Which is bizarrely similar to the Green Lanterns from just like a few months ago.
It's one of my two big problems with this issue. That I was like, we just did this on Green Lanterns. Like, why are we doing this again here?
It's weird.
And Robinson's even self-aware about that, where he's like, well, usually this is a Green Lantern's job.
Yeah, there's a reference to Green Lantern as they're doing it.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's right down to the fact that the race of, as you're calling them, seahorses, don't want to be saved, which is exactly like the Molites in that Green Lantern's arc, and they had to be convinced. So far,
I feel
it's very similar.
I feel like Just was the better person to explain this to them versus Superman. Like, it's just weird. It was a weird execution here. But yeah, I mean, we got Jaun though.
I think the problem is with Superman, he never wants to feel like he's ordering people to do anything.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Green Lanterns, they're space cops. They do give orders. That's kind of their thing.
Yeah, but that's not how Jess solved that.
No, it's not.
She had the whole rope analogy. Like, are you going to grab the rope? And here, Superman's just kind of like, well, no, you guys have to leave because, like, destruction of the planet's bad. I would know. And they're like, well, no, this is, this is our religion, and if that's how it's meant to be.
Yeah.
It's like, well...
And then this, because he tries to convince them, they think he's this prophesized, villain that's going to try and make them break their faith. So they all start to try and attack him. And then there's this one scientist on the planet who's a man of science who helps them and saves them. And that's kind of where we end the issue.
Seahorse Joelle, like
kind of, yeah. Seahorse.
Because I just feel like if Krypton was this place of science, yet still devoid of reason because they were so set in their ways. Then this is kind of the opposite, where it's this world of faith, and this is, the one guy with reason, so, I feel like Robinson's really good at telling these kind of fables, because he did do the whole Superman run when he was on New Krypton, and he had, who did he have? Was it Mon-El? But he had the whole thing with Atlas, and they played around with that, so he's good at this type of stuff. Again, a little too close to the Green Lantern story that we just got out of Seeley.
Really weird.
It is.
That was the second half of this show. The first half of this show was in the Fortress, and it was basically it's the anniversary of Krypton's destruction. So obviously it's very coincidental that a planet, which Superman points out, it's very coincidental that a planet is going to die in a very similar fashion. But it's kind of like Jaun learning about Krypton's destruction, and there's a lot of banter. Some of which I liked. I particularly when Jaun's trying to convince Superman to let him go on the mission with him. He's like, yeah, I mean, I should go on this, because of Row. And he's like, that's where we're going with this, you're going to Row? And like, yeah. That was funny. I did think some of Jaun's dialogue, though, was occasionally a bit young-sounding from what I'm used to now.
I thought most of his dialogue was off. In concept of what he's saying, I think was good. Like, the Rouse stuff, like the ideas of what he's saying is good, but just the actual phrasing of it just feels off.
It does.
Throughout.
Well, it feels like Damian back during, when... Right after Morrison had created him, but Tomasi was using him more. When he would show up in other people's book, Damian just sounded off. Because we were so used to one person's idea of him, so...
Yeah, I can kind of see that. It was more of a problem in the first half. Once the action started to get going, it wasn't as big a deal because
he was speaking less.
Yeah. But I mean, it was okay because I saw James Robinson and I thought, oh, okay, it's a fill-in arc of some kind. Like again, I wasn't really excited about it, and then I read it. I'm like, you know what, that wasn't bad. Obviously, the art was still very good because Doug Mahnke draws, good Superman.
Decent.
Yeah. So that was good. But, I had some nitpicks. Like you say, John's voice is a bit weird. It's very similar to that Green Lantern story. But it's pretty solid for the most part.
It's fine. It's very forgettable, though.
I kind of like Seahorse Science Man at the end.
Yeah. Seahorse Joelle.
Fine, we'll go with Seahorse Joelle, since Matt's really not what
it's got a better role to it, to be fair.
Yeah. But, yeah, it was okay. It was fine. Yeah. We'll see what I don't know if this is just a two-parter or if this is like a longer arc before.
It feels like maybe 2 or 3, but no more.
Yeah, interesting. This is happening so close to the end of the run because obviously, like Tomasi and Gleason are done.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it's I feel like they changed directions halfway through Tomasi and Gleason's run, and I feel like their de facto finale was it Black Sun, whatever that was, with Manchester Black.
You think?
Yeah.
I feel like it because since then, what have we really gotten that was?
Well, we had the road trip, right? That was after that.
Well, no, I feel like Imperious Lex must have always been a planned thing.
Yeah, but it also kind of felt thrown together.
I mean, I agree it did, but like that must have been. In
concept, I agree. Yeah. Like, it feels like that should be a big major beat towards the end of the run.
Yeah, that had to be something that we're working towards to some extent. I don't know. It's a shame to say it feels like it ran out of steam somewhere along the way, but it kind of has. Like it's been kind of rough for a while. It's been a lot of fill-ins.
One of them just like I don't know what I'm doing anymore. just do that. I'll be fine. We'll think of something. And then they never did.
Oh well,
it's a shame.
Yeah, so it's a decent issue of Superman. Nothing special, but it's not offensive or bad. It's just
no.
As
I enjoyed reading it as it was going. I liked the spacesuits that they used, with communicators and whatnot, because they don't have Green Lantern rings. This was the Kryptonian equivalent,
I actually kind of dig Jaun with goggles on. He's got like space goggles on when he's in space. I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
I did a slight problem with the spacesuit from Jaun. It's clearly covering his whole body, and there's the mask on his face, but it's not covering his head.
Yeah.
So, because you can see it over his hood, but obviously he's not wearing his hood. So it's just like, well, why is this not over you? It just felt really strange to me.
I agree.
All right. Well, I guess that'll take us on. I have not much more to add about Superman this week. So that will take us on to Justice League number 38. Christopher Priest writing, Marco Santucci on the art. So this, it's funny actually, because I read this probably just after Batman, and I actually started laughing towards the end, because, alright, we dealt with the whole Wonder Woman cliffhanger that everyone was kind of making a fuss about, and then I read Justice League, and I got to the end, and that page with Batman and Jessica, and I'm like, huh. Now, I'm not necessarily bothered, because I feel like this page is played like there's something else going on here we don't understand, like there's going to be a reveal. Like, you don't even see it. Like, it's, Jessica's got her back to the for lack of a better word, camera. We don't see exactly what's going on, but it does appear as if she's kissing Batman, and I couldn't help but laugh and think, oh, we just dealt with that cliffhanger that no one likes, so now we've got another one. Here you go.
Yeah,
it's slightly more forgivable when it's not King, because obviously King's the one building that relationship in the main book as well, so it feels like he's doing it against himself, whereas this is just, at worst case, it's like, well, someone didn't get the editorial note.
Yeah, I don't think it is though. I feel like there's more to it. Yeah. Whether or not it's like the fan somehow impersonating Jess with like technology or something, which is even weird. Yeah, it's even weirder if it's the fan like kissing Batman. Yeah.
See, I wanted to say that it's just Simon again in disguise.
Well, he's so nervous about this lunch date with Superman. He's going for a smooch with Batman. Make him feel better. I do like, though, earlier on, like, I do actually like Jess and Batman as a pair. Whenever they interact, otherwise I really enjoy it. I enjoyed it last issue. Here, they're not using their any of their technology because they think the Watchtower's been compromised, so they're going up the old-fashioned ways, and Jess comes to pick up Batman, and she takes him in a snow globe. That's the construct. There's a green snow globe with Batman.
It's obviously it's played off because Batman's complaining. He's like, yeah, no, he's not cold. Jess is like, aren't you cold? It's like, no, I don't let myself be cold. It's a state of mind.
I don't think he's that lame, is it? Not if I don't accept it.
Yeah.
I don't accept that I'm cold, so therefore I am not.
I disagree with that because I hate being cold. So I will always accept it.
Nah, it's simple. You just have to accept it. You just say, no, I'm not cold. I am warm.
Nah, I'm cool. I'll pass. It's fine.
Exactly. Don't say you're cool. That's you accepting you're cold. Don't stop it.
No, I mean, I'm not. I'm just gonna get out of wherever it's cold. I'm gonna find a way to get warm. I
love that as well. But before she comes and picks him up, everyone else, because you cut him from like Wonder Woman and Cyborg, and they're kind of walking around, sorting stuff out. When Jess shows up, Batman has literally just stood there in the wind, cape flowing, doing nothing. Mm-hmm. Just ultimate brooding on a mountain.
Yeah. The majority of this issue is actually a really cool little Flash kind of sub-story here.
Yeah.
Where
I like what he said, too, that he is a scientist, not an engineer. Like, that was so from Star Trek Bones.
Yeah. Damn it, Jim, I'm a scientist, not an engineer. Yeah.
Exactly.
So he's trying to do repairs and like fix things on the Watchtower, and a LexCorp ship, a little space shuttle, crashes into the side of the Watchtower, and he's like, "Oh crap, there's a pilot on board. I'm going to have to like whip on my spacesuit and go outside and try and help them." And he makes a bunch of references as he goes out. He makes a Star Trek reference, then he makes a Martian reference, name drops Matt Damon even, and goes to save the pilot, and he ends up like getting disconnected. He's got no fuel left, and there's a lot of like. There's actually a page where my only critique of this issue is one of the pages where he's out in space and he's trying to think about how he can solve it. And I'm going to count them. I want to count how many narration boxes there is in this page.
Oh, that's my problem with the issue as a whole. It's so wordy and dense, even by priest standards. This is more than usual, especially with Justice League has typically been a little bit more pared back than Deathstroke, whereas this is just nope.
The results are in 24 boxes on that one page.
See, in theory, I like it for that one page because, okay, no, this is the Flash going as quick as he can. Like, okay, no, a million thoughts a second. But because it's in a very wordy issue, it just sticks out as, okay, this is a bigger part of a bigger problem.
It's actually kind of hilarious. There's so much of it, and I don't even think I noticed it the first time. It was when I was skimming back through, but I'm like, you can barely see any of the art. It's all boxes with text in it. Yeah. But hey,
I do like where the scene goes, though.
Oh yeah, him phasing out of his suit and then trying to like get to the tower by running on debris that's like floating around, like just in enough time before his Speed Force shorts out and he dies.
Well, I mean, we should point out he also does go Speed Force, bro.
He basically does. Yes, this shouldn't work, but Speed Force.
He's like Speed Force has its own rules. It's fine.
Yeah.
I love where as he's running over the debris, he's like. So to put things in scientific terms, this is like the coyote not falling until he notices he's off the cliff.
I'm a scientist.
All scientific.
This is magic.
Yeah. That was good. It's just a really fun situation, just the Flash having to deal with being in a vacuum and like all the little tricks that he's pulling, even if it's a lot of bullshit. It was mostly fun, like having him do all this.
Yeah.
And he's dragging the pilot with a cord as he's doing this. And meanwhile, the rest of the team are inside arguing. Like Baz is like, "Hey, So have you ever been to lunch with Superman, Wonder Woman? I mean, come on now, like, this is weird, right?" He's like, actually, I don't think I have. And you're like you mean a woman? No, you're one of the three. You're part of the Trinity. Like, he's not even been to lunch with you. You're not one of us B-listers like Cyborg. And Cyborg's like, "Hey, I founded the team." But you were there. You were there.
No, I think you got this wrong. Diana's the one who has had lunch. Because she butts in and goes, I've had lunch. And he's asking, like, Cyborg and Aquaman.
Hold on, let me go back to the page.
Yeah, but you're one of the three.
Yeah. She's like, "I've had lunch." He says, "Yeah, but you're the special one. That's why you've had lunch. No one else gets
You're
lunch."
friends. You're personal friends with him.
Yeah.
No, she says, "I've had lot," and then she stops and thinks and says, "No, actually, I'm not sure I have."
Okay.
Yeah, you both misread that. Like she hasn't.
I was reading it as him asking the others, and she'd be like, "Yeah, I've had lunch."
No, she corrects herself. So, no.
Have you seen her have lunch with him?
Yeah, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say that in continuity in the past 80 years, Superman and Wonder Woman have never had lunch. But she says she didn't.
Recently, ish, in the last year or so.
This is not a hill to die on.
No.
They had dinner, but it wasn't just those two. It was with
dinner's not lunch.
Well.
Dinner's not lunch. Just to make that clear.
I mean, all right, fine. Dinner's not lunch. I guess it doesn't help when the start of the Trinity book was them all having dinner.
Yeah.
Not lunch.
Not lunch, but still.
Not that I care. The point is I was right. And Connor was wrong.
Okay.
Anyways.
Especially the Connor was wrong part. That's the part I really like. My favourite part. Oink. Anyway, so... Don't you start fighting on his behalf. He's all, I'm not picking a side until it amuses him to pick a side. Stay over there, Matt. So again, much like Barry heard the ship crashing, they hear a thunk when Barry hits the side of the watchtower, and presumably Superman or whoever goes, "Hey, wait a minute, what was that?" and jumps outside and saves his ass. Yeah. So and that's where we go. If I do, the art's typically pretty decent. I do want to criticise one or two faces though. I think that page where it is Jessica and Bruce, the page before with Bruce's face before it cuts to that page. I feel like his face looks a bit weird for some reason. Like I don't know what it is. It's something about his forehead.
It's. I think it's his face too round. I'm used to him. He's very square jawed usually. Yeah. It's just a bit too rounded around the cheekbones.
It looks more like Hal Jordan to me, actually, on that page.
I'll be honest. The jacket doesn't help.
It doesn't. No. But even just the hair.
I was questioning. I was like, I'm pretty sure this is Bruce that she's kissing, but it kind of looks like Hal, just with the wrong color hair.
It's the hair, but having the pattern as well. I feel like Bruce typically is more either slicked back or will have, I don't know, but this is like a perfect center part. It feels more like Hal Jordan to me.
Yeah, but the jacket is the thing that tips over the edge. The other thing that makes me go, okay, this is definitely Bruce's. At the bottom of the jacket, the yellow rim just looks like the utility belt of old.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. And then, so basically everyone's like, yeah, Batman, you should probably step down as leader for a while. He's like, okay, fine, I'll go. But before I go, I'm picking my replacement. And he comes in and he says, I choose him, and points to Cyborg. So
yeah, this is after obviously they'd all internally debated and gone, hey, Superman, you're doing this. And Superman's like, I don't really want to. It's like, tough shit.
Yeah. So... yeah, curious to see what the explanation is for that Jess kiss, because I don't this doesn't even seem like Jess. Like she seems like she'd be too nervous to even attempt this. So I'm thinking it's someone else just impersonating her, but we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. Typically, I enjoyed the issue. All the Flash stuff was fun. And again, more of that Simon Baz like being nervous about the lunch date. It was cracking me up. So
yeah, I like that. I thought it was just going to be a one-time thing last issue, which and we got the payoff in that issue, so it was already funny. But it coming back up here as a running thing is great. Yeah,
now that it's a running thing though, we actually have to have the lunch scene. It can just be one panel.
That'll be the last issue of this run.
Exactly, yeah. But we have to have that lunch scene now because it's been a running thing in 2 issues. We have to actually have the lunch date.
Is it funnier if he never gets it and he's like, oh, I actually want us to go to lunch by the end?
No, because Superman's a man of his word.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have to honor that.
I like the idea that we'll get like a little page building up to it where Simon's getting dressed, he doesn't know what to wear, and he's all nervous, so he's putting on like his suit and tie, and he's like getting all pretty. He doesn't know what to do.
He did just end up going to Big Belly Burger.
He's like, yeah, you know, Simon, I'm really in the mood for some fast food, and he's like, oh, I dressed for a nice proper lunch, fancy restaurant. I want a waiting staff, god damn it.
See, I feel like lunch is inherently more informal.
Yeah, because it is.
Oh, no, it is. No, absolutely
so
is.
He shouldn't be suiting up for that. If he goes, all right, come to dinner, that's where you get your suit out.
No, but it's Superman.
Yeah, but it's Simon. He's overthinking it.
I get it.
Yeah, like I mean, most people.
That's what makes it funny, Connor.
Most people
explain jokes that are no longer funny.
Thank you, Matt. Most people would have a casual lunch, but I feel like. I mean, that's Superman, but I'm thinking if you think of Bruce being like a millionaire, I feel like millionaires have fancy lunches just because they can.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I feel like if Bruce asked him to lunch, that's you wear a suit to that.
Yeah, because it's probably going to be at a posh restaurant.
Yeah.
Well, it's 50-50.
No, it's gonna be Alfred.
Yeah, it'll either be a posh restaurant or it'll be Alfred with a sandwich. Just like, here you go. have that.
Alfred with his pancakes.
Oh no, Rorschach's getting to them first.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, not that Connor's even talked to us about that because he wasn't here for the last two Doomsday Clock issues.
I don't.
All right, that'll take us on to Green Lantern's number 40. Tim Seeley writing, and oh wait, no, it's not Tim Seeley writing, is it? Oh, it's Tim Seeley writing. I'm confusing myself. Oh god.
Yeah, you are.
I'm confusing myself.
This is a shambles.
Yeah. Bamaby.
This is as bad as someone thinking it's Oink.
Bamaby Bagenda on the art, if I'm remotely saying that correctly.
Gesundheit.
It's a new name. So it's a new name. It's an exciting name. I like it. It's very illiterate. Anyway, so this is starting off the superhuman trafficking plot, which, and you know where I'm going with this, guys. You know what I want now after this issue. I need the Nightwing and I need the Jessica Cruz team up book or arc. It needs to happen. It needs to happen because Jess finds out about the dating app. You know, was it Caper? Was that what it was called?
Yeah.
And she is like signing up for it, and she's like, "Oh, I hope Nightwing's on here." He gets all the super ladies sweating, and then later on, she gets like a result. It's like, "Give me the Nightwing, give me the Nightwing," and it's even funnier when you actually read Nightwing this week because we'll get to that later. Because there's hot dick action in Nightwing, but
sorry, I was 12 years old.
I love how I make that really obvious joke, and every time it happens, Matt still laughs.
I can't help it. Sometimes I am 12 years old. It's fine.
It's such a big hearty laugh as well. It's not like a little chuckle, little smile, smirk. No, it's a full on big belly laugh.
I love the fact that he has so many admirers. Like,
I know.
It really is. He is that dude in DC.
Jessica loves the dick. That's what we've learned in this issue. And
but also I feel like she's become the character for writers to try out different relationships because there was the Barry and Jess thing that was going on for a little bit. And now
that doesn't seem to exist anymore.
No, but that was a fun pairing. So I feel, I don't know. This one seems to make more sense though, because again, everybody loves Grayson.
It's funnier that you thought about it and went, no, not doing it.
Nope.
So they go investigating this. They're helping with a flood. By the way, isn't it weird how we know that Power Girl's trapped in some weird interdimensional plane?
Thank you.
And then,
I know if we were going to get to that right now, but why is she there?
Yeah, so just because there's a bunch of other heroes, like Blue Beetle's there, you even see Supergirl at one point in the background, but Power Girl's just in the background helping with this flood. And I'm like, wait a minute, she was in like...
This is set slightly ahead of Deathstroke.
Yeah, but I'm gonna...
Yeah, I mean, no, what you can say, I guess.
I don't know, I'm gonna just chalk that up that, they couldn't make that any other hero. Like, there's no one in the editorial going, hey, let's not... Because what if we hadn't have gotten that Deathstroke issue yet? And now Power Girl's just there.
Yeah, it's a fair question.
It feels like a weird little editing, but because she doesn't need to be, she doesn't have any dialogue. It could literally just be drawn as someone else, and it would have been fine. And it feels like no one caught it, but hey, not a big deal. But I thought it was worth mentioning.
I caught it.
We caught it, yes, sure. We caught it, Matt. Yes. I meant the editorial staff. So they're helping with this flood, and then they get called up to the Watchtower, and like, hey, all these heroes, like Night Pilots, went missing because was it Billeteer tells Simon about this, and Jessica's scrolling through the app, and she's like, hey, all the people who are missing were all on this. So they go and look to people who are making this, and they end up chasing someone down who's may or may not be involved. We get some fun action from it out of that, and then we finally at the end of this you see Night Pilot and a bunch of the other heroes that have been kidnapped in their cells. So that's basically the issue in a nutshell. It's actually really enjoyable though, as much as I made it sound like it was really straightforward. There was a lot of good banter throughout.
It's very much set up of the arc, but it is punctuated with the banter, which makes it enjoyable enough.
Very good. And then there's a small little joke as well where the app actually gives Jessica a pairing, and she goes and looks at it, and it's Simon, and she's like, oh shit, oh yeah, not stupid app.
I feel like it was inevitable we were going to go down this path at some point.
See, I hope
Here's
we're not.
The thing though.
Go on, Matt.
Well, no. Just because they're matched doesn't mean it has to be romantic. They are partners, so they would have a lot in common.
Yeah,
that's where I feel that it's going.
This is what I mean. I feel like it was bound to be explored of, will they, won't they, at some point, just because of their pairing. I assume it'll land on the, no, they're not going to.
I'd hope that. I don't want them to be a romantic pairing. It's fun to crack a few jokes about it, but like I feel like I don't want that.
I feel like it was bound to get explored somewhere, though,
also,
so might as well do it here where it's joking about it.
I like when she's signing up and she's like picking her username, she's like, damn it, Green Lantern's taken. And I love the idea that it could be Simon who took it already, or it could have been any one of the previous lanterns. And she's like... What was it? Pancake Princess or something like that she picked instead?
Yeah. I thought it was also interesting as well, though, that she goes, all right, so what am I interested in, men or women? Or both. And she just goes, And it never gives you an answer on that.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I don't know if they've hinted at that before, that she may actually...
I don't think they have, because it stuck out to me.
Yeah, so maybe she's bisexual or whatever, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something we can explore. Maybe if the dick falls through... maybe she'll try Babs. Like, okay, Nightwing didn't work out, so hey, Bab, how about you?
Another member of the Bat family.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I actually really like the idea of her. If they're going to have like a plot where we're dating someone, and I do like the idea it's Dick, but even just in the larger sense, I love the idea that it's someone from a different family. Like, it's not a Green Lantern character; it's someone from a Bat family or a Super family or whatever.
Yeah,
I like that idea to sort of cross pollinate a little bit. I think that's fun.
Yeah, can't argue with that.
But no, I think they have good chemistry, which obviously, I think that's the thing that everyone's remembering from this issue, because it's just really good fun. But all the chasing, they bring up the Grayson. Speaking of Dick Grayson, the tech, the hypnotech.
Seeley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, of course Seeley's going there. Of course, there's a Nightwing reference, because he, that's the character he wrote for so long, and then there's an Omega Man thing too.
Yeah,
which was the Tom King, and it was King and Seeley on Grayson.
They were doing that at the same time that Omega Men was happening, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe they just finished.
No, it was around the same time. That was King's first DC solo book. But they were still writing partners on Grayson all the way through. So I thought that was a fun,
Because Grayson...
To someone that's not aware, it's fine. But to someone like me that read everything...
It's a shout out to his partner, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly. And I like that. And I like that it turns out that the person that they're hunting is part of the Omega Men, or something along those lines. I'm not too sure. I'm not familiar with them.
No, I couldn't get into it. As much as I like King, I tried it. It just wasn't working for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never did. It was always Cosmic DC. Well, basically almost outside of Green Lanterns, Cosmic DC, I have a hard time getting into. So I want to go back and try it now, though.
I think I'm more inclined to go back and check out Omega Men, because I've been liking so much of his other stuff, and give it a proper try. We should mention that, because, like I said, the artist is a name that I don't recognise, so it's a new name they've had.
Yeah, I think it's done a good job of keeping the style.
I think it does.
It's not jarring. Like, sometimes you get a film artist that's completely different.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of some of the art, though. Some of the smaller panels of the people's faces look a little weird. It's a little bit too... I shouldn't say weird because it's a taste thing, but it looks a lot like manga, and I'm not a fan of that art style.
Well, it's funny, because I typically am the one who'll complain about that, and I actually didn't have a problem with the faces here. I thought the big explanation...
I think there's sometimes that, like, Simon has huge lips for some reason.
Yeah. I like
they're almost not there at all.
I like the slightly accented expressions, though. Like there's a good one when they're breaking into... or not breaking in, but when they're getting to the people who make the app, right?
Right.
And, like, Jessica's, like, trying to think of something, and she sort of, got that confused face where she's gritting her teeth, and then the guy who, like, picks up the door, he's got this big smile on. I like how kind of it's very expressive, but there's a nice little sort of element of cartoony fun to it as well.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. There's an element to that.
I also like the company's called Hookups, as if they hit me more on the nose.
Yeah.
Like, that was
good.
Funny.
No, I think the art's mostly good, but it is a bit inconsistent in its style at times, with the regards to things like the lips. So that's a little jarring, but overall, it's not bad.
Yeah, no, because when I didn't recognise the name, I thought, oh, what am I getting into here? Because I've not, I don't know this guy. And I was like, oh, this is actually mostly pretty good. So, yeah, this is good.
Also, there's a superhero called the Bearer of Bad News. That name is way too wordy.
I like it. Although I don't understand why that's the... that should be a villain.
Do you know what would be better? The Bear of Bad News.
Yeah, duh. Well, also, I'm going to jump into a wrestling reference here. It reminded me of Bad News Barrett, who would announce himself with, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. So
I knew you were going there, Matt.
This guy.
I knew you were going there.
But I imagine this guy is the same. It's fine.
Alright, so I thought it was a solid issue of Green Lanterns, and I'm looking forward to the rest of this arc.
Yeah, it's fun. I like when Green Lantern's fun, and I like when it's not so space opera-y. And, it really hasn't been, outside of the fact that we had a, alien civil war during the last arc.
No, and I like that. I think it does get away with it because you have Hallam Pals doing the space opera thing. Yeah. So it's like, well, we don't need to be filling that with this as well, so we can do the other stuff.
Yeah, it feels a bit more like it's got a bit more variety than perhaps.
And that's fine. I mean, because over this course of the run, it was Humphries though, but we had that arc in Gotham, and we've gotten, Seeley now doing this stuff with the mole people and Angara and stuff. So yeah, it's fun. I like reading it. That's what I think the most important.
The series has expanded quite a bit. Because obviously when it started, the premise was these are the Earth Lanterns.
Yeah.
Whereas now, no, they're out and about in space when they need to be. It doesn't shy away from that, even though.
They're in their sector though. I
mean, they are. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I think. When I've always wanted them to get back to being space cops, and I feel that's what they're doing here. They're working a missing persons case now, right?
Yeah.
But I felt with Jaun's run on Green Lantern, and then even Tomasi, they were just kind of the catch-all. That it wasn't necessarily sector specific. And then, like you said, with Hal and Pals, they can do that because they're all honor guard.
Yeah, they're all out in deep space, whereas this is a bit more local. But no, I actually kind of like how simple the case is. It is just a missing persons case. I mean, sure, we'll probably get into some wacky stuff that it'll lead to, but I like that at its core, someone's missing.
It's enough for them to investigate just based on missing person. It doesn't have to be some huge thing, even though it'll likely escalate into something big.
Oh, sure, yeah. We'll see who's actually kidnapping these people and what they're doing with them. And
well, like, even just the concept of, we know there's a whole bunch of people kidnapped, and like to the extreme. They know a few, but like to them, it's a pretty small time case still right now.
Well, and we went over what Night Pilot. So she's captive, and they're sending them out to these, for manual labor and whatnot. And they talk about how she's working on this gas thing, and she's actually getting off easy. So I'm curious to see where that goes. If it is just labor, if there's some more dark things going on, and how is that going to impact Jessica?
And it'll be interesting to see if she ends up sticking around. Like, if they save her, like, does it actually lead to a relationship with Baz in some way? Like, it'd be interesting to see if that's how they actually meet, is they hooked up, and then it's like, nah, we're not going to be a thing. But then he saved her, and then it's like, well, okay, I'll give you a chance, or something like, I don't know. Like, it'd be a weird story to tell about how you met.
It would be fun to see Jess being all judgmental, because obviously she was like, she sounds like a gold digger.
Yeah.
But then it'd be like, as soon as he saves her, it's like, hey, I'm into you again now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've seen that when he hooked up with, what's her name, the pop star.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
Jess kind of was just like, well, she's just a pop star. We're like, what are you doing? Like, so yeah. But I always took that not as jealousy, but like as a sister going, you're making some terrible decisions, man.
Oh yeah, I said she'll be judgy, but not jealous.
Yeah.
No, yeah. But that's what I mean. I mean, some people might read it that she's jealous, but
I think you could if you wanted to, but I don't think you should.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the other Green. This Green Arrow number 37, Benjamin Percy and Johnny Ferreyra on the art. This is the second last issue in the run.
And it feels like it. Not in a bad way. Not like it's wore out its welcome, but you can tell that Percy is ramping down.
Yeah, because obviously
decelerating.
The end of the issue sort of leads into the final issue, which is going to be the trial. And even as he's going towards the courthouse, we hear the news reporters talking about the case, and it cuts between all the Justice League, it cuts between all the sort of close family members of Green Arrow that are all kind of reacting to what's going on. It's like it's a whole big thing. It feels like it's ramping up to this final sort of moment.
And it feels like a what's the word I'm looking for? It's not walled off exactly, or contained. It kind of like Bendis' Daredevil was kind of contained. This is what Percy's run of Green Arrow is going to feel like, because I feel like he's basically going to reset the table at the end of this trial, and whoever's taking over is going to have
clean slate. I think where you say it's contained, it is, because it's not like it's locked away from everything else, because it's still interacted with the wider universe, but at the same time, 99% of the run, I think, barring the one or two issues where it's done tie-ins and crossovers, you can just read and it still functions entirely on its own.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And I like that.
But so it's mostly an action issue. It's mostly still there in this pit, this deep cave cellar that they've been fighting in. And try to get Emmy to rescue because she was shot with the arrow last issue. Diggle shows up and saves Black Canary at one point, so Diggle's back in the fold, which is kind of what you mean by it's like resetting the table. All the characters seem to be back in play, and the trial's going to be wrapped up, no doubt, at the end of the next issue. So that's.
I will say it does kind of feel a little bit like, hey, Diggle's just back. Like it felt like okay, there was somewhere else in between this that we should have had, but we never got.
We got him with Merlin. but I feel like it was meant for more, and then he's moving on.
The funny thing about Diggle in this run is I feel like you could just cut him out and it wouldn't make that much of a difference. Beyond like, the one time he saved Merlin. Like, otherwise he could just not be here and it'd be fine.
Yeah. Percy did say on Twitter, I want to say it was either last week or earlier this week, he had planned to do a Connor Hawke story. So I'm wondering if Diggle had anything to do with that, you know, going forward. And it just kind of got backburnered because, I don't know, maybe he got burned out of writing Green Arrow, or maybe he had some other ideas for something else. I don't
think it's a burned out thing. I think it just comes a time when it's time to leave. You realise that you're coming to the end of your days. And
that's what I mean. He found a logical place to end his story on.
Because as he phrased that tweet, though, he said, almost every writer who's had a long run always had one or two more stories they were going to do probably at some point, and then for whatever reason, they just never happened.
And that's right. It's just, I think, not that he got burnt out, like you say, but okay, he's like, okay, this is the end. I've got to wrap things up. And it feels like Diggle is one of the elements where there was another plan somewhere that we just never going to see now.
Yeah. And outside of that, I think we got some nice stuff with him. And like him coming in here and shooting the arrow out of Merlin's hand, which I think is a nice, like, kind of meta.
I like that he just shoots through his hand.
Yeah. You know, takes out an arrow with a bullet. There's always something bigger.
It wraps up some other stuff as well, because Kate Spencer comes in and saves Wendy Poole by just stabbing the guy in the head, which is pretty extreme.
Again, that's another thing. I wish... I don't wish. It would have been cool to hint at her being Manhunter. Like, not Martian Manhunter. There's a completely separate character, for those that don't know, that Kate Spencer was Manhunter. So, the fact that she just disarms this dude and then right through the head...
It's certainly leaving it open for if someone wants to actually do that story later on when she becomes Manhunter, they're definitely setting up.
Yeah, she's capable.
Yeah.
I really didn't like the one-liner, though.
No.
I might be a defense attorney, but I moonlight as a prosecutor.
Yeah, no.
But cheesy.
We talk about Percy does that. He gets super heavy-handed, but it's done in a fun way.
Mostly I'm okay with it, but every so often he'll cross the line where I go, ugh, no, shouldn't have been there. And that was one of them.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, this is fairly straightforward. It's mostly just sort of wrapping up the fight and everyone running out as the things fall down. Shadow and Moira Queen seem to fall to their death, although I'm going to say they haven't. But, you know, it seems that way. It has that moment.
If Moira Queen shows back up, she better have an arrow burned brand on her forehead.
Especially Shadow. I think Shadow will be the one that I expect to pop up. Shadow.
No, you gotta say it like Deathstroke.
Oh, sorry. Shadow!
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I thought I said the wrong word there, and I'm like, no, I said Shadow. What are we talking about?
No. Why don't you just say it like Slade?
No, okay. Shadow!
I thought for a second Matt was having a Starfire moment.
Yeah. He's like,
no, come on now.
Who's Shadow?
I don't know. She has a different haircut. I might not recognize her, even though she's orange skin and has green eyes.
Shut your face. And it wasn't clear that it was orange skin. It was a very dark scene.
It was clear. Have we got a button for that yet? Of Peter not recognizing?
We need it. Starfire who?
Stop giving people ideas, right? We're talking about Green Arrow. Also, oink. While we're at it, that's Connor's new button. He's getting an oink. He's getting an oink on his screen.
Anyways, no, I really love this issue, and you guys assured me that Emmy would be okay, and of course she is.
Which is shocking, given that they actually show us the arrow through her heart. Like, didn't they? 5 minutes. They went, no, we're showing it you through the heart, but she's fine. It's good.
Hey, she got that superior fighting spirit. She fought a dragon, for God's sakes. So, but no, like, I would have weirdly been okay with them killing her off, right? But I'm glad that they didn't, because she's become one of my favorite characters. So.
Oh yeah, I think whoever takes obviously we've got a couple of months of fill-ins. We've got a 2-part fill-in story, and then presumably the new run will hopefully be starting in, I think, July. That pushes up to April's the last issue. July. July theoretically should be the start of the new proper run, unless we have another fill-in, which would be annoying. But
yeah, I just want to criticize Ollie's choice of suit at the end. Don't wear an all green suit. What are you doing?
I'm not Green Arrow.
Yeah.
Power Rangers. This is Power Rangers rules. You have to wear your colour. All times.
Full green suit, complete with a green tie. Like, what are you doing?
Oh man, now I want like a panel of like all the Justice League in plain clothes, but they're all wearing the colours. Like,
oh yes. Look, the only way I will accept this is if in the courtroom he's coming out as Green Arrow.
which he might. Maybe that's his big bombshell.
I will accept that.
Like maybe, like whoever the next run, because obviously they've not announced it yet, but maybe they know who the next run is going to be by. Maybe like this is something that he's like spoke to them about. It's like, okay, this is how I want it to end it, and they know
where I want to leave, because I know Matt said he felt like he was resetting the pieces.
Yeah.
Alternatively, he's mostly going to reset, but then he's gone, but here's your new challenge. You work with this, and that's your fun thing.
Well, it's not like they haven't done that before. I mean,
no, of course.
He's unmasked before and been Green Arrow, and I mean, he even was mayor of Star City for a little bit.
Also, this is something that just bugs me with Green Lantern sometimes. So Hal's watching the news on a Green Lantern Construct TV.
Yeah, I don't think that's how that works.
It's analog broadcast. It's analog broadcast, and he's picking up the signal.
Oh, so you're telling me Star City's broadcasting TV stations in analog still? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, no one else does that anymore.
Behind the times.
Okay.
Then again, he has the most will out of any Green Lantern, so, if he wants to pick up some digital feeds or whatever, sure.
Hey, Hal.
I don't know how those rings work.
Hal, give us the fight on pay-per-view, come on. Construct it up.
This is it. Like, recently we've had the whole new disguise thing, and now, so I'm like, well, alright, they're clearly changing it up a bit, how these work.
So you say that, Pete, that he wants the new fights on pay-per-view. That's something I can see Gardner actually doing. I'm going, hey, I got a black box in my ring right here. I'm going to watch what I want to watch.
Favourite thing about this issue, though, might be Damien showing up to the hospital room.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yes.
We willed that to happen. I'm going to just say that. That is us collectively wanting the Damien Emiko.
If Percy's still in Teen Titans after No, because we know that Titans and Teen Titans are somehow kind of, I don't know if they're going on break or they're just tying into No Justice. It's kind of unclear at this point. But if Percy's still in Teen Titans after, I do hope that he brings in Emmy, just because he can. I'm still going to rate her because she's not a Teen Titan. Why not?
Yeah.
That said, though, that means they may have to bring in some other characters because other people want to join the Teen Titans, and they've been turning them down.
They get first dibs, really, don't they?
Yeah. Well, no, she was offered first. She was offered before the other characters.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So Emmy's first in line, and then Superboy, and then Power Girl. Assuming she's not still trapped in the thing.
See, that's a
Power
weird
Girl was already
Power
on the
Girl
team.
was on the team before, and it was just Damien being a shit. It was like, nah, I'm having you.
All right, sure, but she wants back in, so I mean,
she should probably get first though, because everyone else was like, hey, she's our teammate.
I don't see why we can't have like a massive Teen Titans team, Damien. Like, come on, just let everybody in.
No, I'm
like
all
those
down
teams.
for that. Like, have a team, have them all hang out in the tower, and then be like, hey, who have we got around today? Because they all have to be there for every mission.
That said, we do know that the team is probably going to be shaken up after No Justice anyway, so there might be people missing that were here just now. There might be, it might not even be Titans and Teen Titans. It might be Young Justice and something, or
hopefully we'll have Cyborg head in one of them.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
So
Cyborg, Adult Wally, that'd be cool.
So we're shaking that up. Also, I want to point out Eddie Fires and that are in the crowd as well at the courthouse.
Yeah. Cheshire, Brick, they're all there. So, and then you have Roy. Looks like he's heading back towards Star City, driving towards that big tower. So, no, Connor, you criticize his choice of a suit. Well, what should he be wearing that wouldn't be boring?
I don't. There's nothing wrong with boring. Just a typical black, blue suit. Just a normal suit. Green screams, "Hey, look, Green Arrow here." No one wears a green suit.
What if it was like a dark olive green suit?
That would be better. This is very bright and garish, and it feels.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It doesn't feel very slick to go into this. This courtroom. I'm going to wear bright green.
Yeah.
What a knob.
Unless he goes in and goes, you can't charge me of anything. I'm rich. That's why I wear a green suit.
The thing I'm going to add on to this
green.
Is that Ferreyra has said on Twitter that he's not got a project lined up yet. DC, do not let him go. Put him on something.
Lock him in.
Put him on. So I don't care what it is.
Phenomenal artist. He has elevated this book. Don't get me wrong. The book has had other great artists. It's always had good art. But
yeah, without the art, it really is just pulpy, good fun. It's what it was before Rebirth, his New 52 run. I mean, we had werewolves and motorcycle gangs.
Yeah.
And here,
But like even the very first page where you've got Oliver holding Emmy and you got all in the flames or the visions of the memories. It's like no, that is gorgeous just because of his art. Like you write that page. It's a very standard page. It's hitting all the beats right of what you expect, but it's elevated by the art. And I feel like Ferreyra has been elevating this book consistently for most of it.
Yeah. So hopefully put him him and Schmidt, him and Otto Schmidt, put them on something.
Yeah.
Ferreyra, I feel like would be he would be good pretty much on any character. I think Flash might be great with him actually. I'm thinking of the speed and like the way he does motion.
Yeah.
He'd be good in Flash. Not that Flash is needing an artist right now, but still.
No. I know where they've got obviously Byrne was the other regular fill-in that we had. He's kind of locked in. He's been floating around. He's done some JLA. He's recently done some of the new Bombshells.
Yeah, he was the third one I'd say. Schmidt was the other regular, although when it went single shipping, he seemed to disappear.
Well, that's because Ferreyra could kind of just take over full time. But
which is fine.
Byrne was the main fill-in, and then Schmidt and Ferreyra were the main artists.
But hey, so we're not seeing Schmidt in anything else recently, so hopefully he pops up as well. But hey, so that was a solid issue. Final issue of the run next month, so hopefully that lands for us. I'm almost disappointed they're not celebrating it by giving it a bigger issue or something like that. Just, it's the final issue of his run, have a extra size one or whatever, but hey-ho. Alright, that'll take us on to Nightwing number 38, Sam Humphries writing, Bernard Chang on art, so Chang's back, that's good, and the quick thing I'll say is, we're back on form, I'd say.
Return to form, thankfully, because
yeah,
I saved this near the last, because I was just like, the last one was so rough. And
just there's a little leftover worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just like, I'll read this, almost last, and because I save White Knight. I'm going to peek behind the curtain. I save White Knight for last every time it comes out. So that's like my dessert of reading books. And so this, I read Nightwing, and I was surprised that it jumped back to where it needed to be.
Yeah, it's I
don't know what happened. I don't know if Humphries forgot how to write, compelling last issue or what. But
well, that was the weird thing though. Last issue, the opening and ending of last issue that was set present day with the art that was similar to Chang's was fine. It was great. There was
nothing wrong with that. It wasn't really stand out because there wasn't enough of it, but it was fine.
But this is the flashback was horrendous.
Last issue they messed up so badly they screwed up the credits page. So
what
the hell was going on?
A lot of confusing last issue about who did what in the credits. So this issue. Guppy killed his father because Dick comes over and he finds the body.
I actually really like because the cliche is he'll get there in time and stop him, but nah, not this time. And I love that panel where it's all bathed in red as Dick opens the door. Yeah,
and he sees the hand. Yeah.
I also like that Guppy's trying to tell him, but Dick's just steamrolling him. Yeah. Right? And then you think like, oh, it was just a mercy killing. And you get to that page, and no, he was stabbed numerous times.
Yeah, he's been stabbed like 30 or 40 times by the looks of his chest. Yeah. So, it's just really extreme. And I like, I think the other smart thing this issue does is before we get to that, it's sort of like there's like a page or two for various things, and it's like the judge, like, manipulating more gang members and gang leaders, and then you see Fabok like kissing her kid and like taking her sniper rifle out, and I'm like, I like that it starts by showing you all the different places in Bloodhaven right now and the effect that he's having all over the place. Like, it's affecting everything.
It is, and I really like they showed us the specific wording for Svoboda. Like they said, all you need to do is shoot Nightwing, not kill. Just I thought that was interesting.
But if that's the case, she's already shot him, so that should be done.
You'd think,
what I mean?
Yeah.
But as we see that she keeps going.
I wonder if that's like a mistake on his part, like because he phrased it that way.
Yeah.
Like,
It'll be a loophole that he can use to exploit it and get her out of it.
I'm still. So here we find out that the Justice Tree is dying. Someone's hit it with some, what's the word? It kills plants, like an herbicide type deal.
Yeah.
I'm confused on why this is a plot point now. If it's not tied to the judge, it is the Justice Tree. So is this meaning like corruption so bad that it killed the Justice Tree, or?
I don't know. I'm just on a wait and see with that. I don't have any.
Well, the fact that it's industrial herbicide, it implies someone is actively killing it. Someone's doing this. Probably the judge in an idea of, look, justice is dead. You've got to do it my way. I assume. It's the metaphor.
I wouldn't get caught up on it, except the last 3 issues where it's, with the judge.
They keep coming back to it, yeah.
They keep coming back to it. The first issue ended with him staring into the tree, so...
Yeah, I don't think it's something you have to think super hard about. I think it's really simple.
Yeah.
Once we actually... I mean, I'm sure we'll get a reveal as to actually what's happening later, but... so, Dick is going hunting, right? He wants to get to the judge, and to get into the casino that he thinks he's in, he tries to do it the old-fashioned Nightwing way. Bruce is on the phone or over comms being like, "Hey, Dick, do you need some help?" And he's like, "No, I'm fine. Like, I can take care of this." He's being headstrong. And he goes, and the casino's got like an electric shield over it, so he can't actually just climb in like he normally does.
I love that he's got the suction cups climbing up the building.
Yeah,
it's great.
Very Mission Impossible.
Yeah, very very old school Batman and Robin actually when you think about it.
That's you.
But he falls. He's like, "Oh crap!" And then he sees someone who goes to his fitness class, and he's like, "Oh, I'll change it to Dick Grayson, and I'll go and like use him to get inside." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm here for a job." And then we turn the page, and the most ridiculous fan service page in the history of Nightwing, possibly comics. So Dick's student is a stripper, and Dick has to tag along to help with the stripping for this bachelorette party. And we get a full page spread of Dick in his bat underwear, shaking his
nose, on the cheek rather,
shaking his booty for horny middle-aged women.
He looks terrified.
He does look terrified.
So, I think this is hilarious, but can you imagine if this was a woman? There'd be weird.
They'd
had to strip their way in.
Yeah, that'd be a weird backlash to that. This is hilarious, though.
Going.
Sorry? Oh, Makes Matt. Matt's Make. That's in Makes Matt.
That's everything. Although you say he looks horrified, but it's more like, what did I get myself into?
He's horrified at these people are scary.
He's scared of them.
Yeah, he thought this would be easy.
It's that he'll go up against anyone, no problem. He's always there. But okay, no, bunch of middle-aged women. Oh, I'm terrified now.
Yeah, drunk middle-aged women specifically. Yes. He's terrified of those. And then of course he's a saint because he gives all of the money that he earned from the stripping to a poor old woman who lost all of her earnings gambling. Although I feel like you're just feeding her addiction, Dick. Maybe.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah. She even yells, "Whoa, blackjack!" I know where she's going next.
Yeah, but it's funny. Yeah. I read this after Green Lanterns, so when I got to the stripper page, I went, "Oh man, Jess wishes she was here for this." It was like the perfect kind of like cross pollination of like ideas. Where in one book she's like, "Oh, Nightwing makes all the ladies sweat," and then this.
I will say I love the panel layout of that page. The one after the main stripping page where he's giving the money away. And so it's all inside his body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's clever.
Yeah, no, it's cool. So then of course he fights his way up, gets some guards out, does climbing up the elevator, and he gets to the judge. And basically the point of this issue is, hey, you're not ready to face the judge. The judge is the big bad, and he is ready for you. He has all these gang leaders with the people ready to fight him. It's a really brutal stab. Actually, he stabs him. It's very Gladiator. He stabs him in the side of his stomach with a knife. So Dick explains why he gets beat so badly here, because he's injured. He's been brutally stabbed. And Svoboda tries to shoot him as well. She's shooting at the window. It's all going down, and the judge reveals that he's actually got his eyes sewn shut. He cannot see anything.
I think, just probably move on to that quickly, it's worth noting with the Svoboda, her target is on the judge, not on...
Yeah, at first it is, you're right, yeah.
Well, and she even says, stop moving. So...
Yeah.
So, you can read that either way. She was trying to aim for Dick, but they kept moving, so she was on him.
Right.
Or
could be. I'm hoping it's the loophole, and so she was aiming for him.
Yeah, she's already shot Nightwing, so technically
she's completed her end.
Yeah, but she's going to help now. Yeah, but she's shooting the glass, so they're ducking and diving, and then Nightwing's just getting the shit kicked out of him by all these people, and that's when the judge is like, "Nah, eyes are sewn shut," and we see his POV because he's like, "No, I see everything in a different way. I see the world and what everything really is," and we get this weird, sort of electrical looking kind of vision.
Yeah, he says corruption is the light by which I see. So and I see everything because everything's corrupt. Right. So I assume the way he gets beaten is someone is too pure and they're not corrupt, that he won't see it coming.
Or it's not that's he's interpreted how he sees as corruption.
Yeah,
but it's not. So it's his own flawed. But I don't know if we've discussed it on here, but Connor has a thing with needles, right?
Mm-hmm.
He can't watch
he hates
them.
needles. Yeah.
I'm that way with stuff to do with eyes. Like I don't like anything to do with eyes, and
I don't mind this because like I hate eyes being touched, like eyeballs being touched. I do not like it at all.
I don't.
Eyelids
like
being shut,
to do with
whatever.
that.
Like
so, like, if I get something stuck in my eye, I become the world's biggest baby until I can get it fixed.
Oh, that doesn't bother me so much. Like, I don't really freak out at that, but just actual touching the eyeball. That's why I'm not a contact lens person. I'm not doing it.
So that's one of those two. But so when I turn that page and his glasses are off and his eyes are sewn shut, I was like, no. This nope.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I have a question about the judge. Like, a lot of this issue is presenting the idea that maybe he hasn't got powers. You know, like the way his persuasion isn't hypnotic, but more they kind of just do it because they think it's it kind of convinces them into it. Then it gets to this end here, and it's like, okay, now it seems a bit more supernatural.
Yeah, I think it's murky in the water. There's definitely it's making you think about that, but I feel like it's always been implied that it is pure, not mind control, but it's like once he plants the seed, you have to carry it out.
That's what it was up until this issue, and this issue started questioning it, and then kind of got to the end, was like, no, he's actually different.
Yeah, what got that was the chief of staff of the mayor that was still. Even after she had killed the mayor for him, went to go jump off the building. So I feel like if it was just him speaking to their darkest desires, she wouldn't have tried to commit suicide.
And I think that's what makes this show work, just on a sort of overall sort of level, on the top of everything, is that it does kind of set up, okay, maybe it is just as convincing people to do these bad things, but then at the end it's like, no, eyes are sewn shut, because that's this big shock, because even Dick's like, hey, like, you've been blind this whole time, what the hell? It's like, no, I see things differently, and we get this, it almost kind of looks like Daredevil's radar kind of vision. But blue, obviously,
Because Nightwing.
Because Nightwing, exactly. And that's where we end the issue. Dick's been captured, he's been knocked out, so who knows what predicament he's going to be in when we start next issue.
Yeah, I will say, as well as doing all these serious, heavy plot beats that it's doing, it still manages to bring the fun. Obviously, we talk about the stripper stuff, but we have the League of Limousine Assassins.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I mean, obviously, why has this not been a thing before?
Yeah. Well, they mentioned them a few issues ago, right? When they were talking about the...
Yeah, but like the way that when they just show up, it's like, my new associates, the League of Limousine Assassins.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes.
Yeah, no, it's just great. It's great. So had one really bad issue, but then immediately it's back to being fantastic again.
It makes that issue all the more frustrating.
It's weird. Yeah. I almost wish I don't necessarily want it to go back to single shipping, but I also wouldn't mind if they do it because Marvel do this with some books where it'll be single some months and double others. So. It'd have been fine if last month it was just one issue, and then
just keep Chang going and work to his schedule. If he can do 3 issues every 2 months, then do that. Yeah,
and I'll just go from there. But yeah, so that was a great issue. I dug it. Nightwing's on top form. Of course, now I'm just expecting every 3rd or 4th issue to suck, but then it'll be back on top form again.
Yeah.
It'd be almost nice if they did with the collected edition. It just took out not the whole of last issue, but just the flashback. Just give us the little cliffhanger with Guppy go to kill his father, and then okay, that's all you need.
Yeah, it's gonna make it really annoying as a run overall because they'll be like, no, do you know what? That's assuming it keeps up this quality that we got here consistently, except every 3 or 4 issues. Yeah. I'll be like, you know what? That's a fantastic run, but it really has some problems that stop it being one of the best.
To be fair, maybe. Because the writing dipped last issue as well. Maybe the writing will still just be as good next time. It'll just be because it won't be the stupid flashback. It'll be some other way of having a kind of fill-in story that's still kind of part of the arc.
I think that might be part of the concern. Is he clearly wants Chang for the main story?
Yeah.
And when Chang's not ready, he's like, okay, I've got to do something else. He's not just giving the same script to another artist. He's forcing in something else and going, okay, well, I'll do this instead.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be better planned from now on, though, because obviously maybe he's expecting that it'll be a different artist on the next arc. Because actually, saying that, we know there's at least 2 fill-in issues we do, coming up in April. So maybe that's why. Maybe it's Chang's doing the next arc as well. So he's.
It might be a case of him going, do you know what? That didn't work out with the way I wanted to. I had to force in that extra issue. Instead, let's just take a month off and let him get ahead.
Yeah, get a couple of one-ers done from other writers. They may be fun.
It's almost the the Image style of okay, we'll do an arc, then we'll take a couple of months off, and then come back again.
But because it's a main DC Comics character, we get some fill-ins instead of just time off.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that consistently.
Yeah, but that's okay as well. I think it could be fun. The one shot, so there's no reason why they can't be.
Because we did do that once, I think, during the New 52. It was in between. It was when Manipul was on Detective, and then we had that 2 issues in the middle between arcs.
It was Percy. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that worked out well.
Yeah, no, it can do. So, you know, I mean, that bad issue where it felt kind of forced in might just be growing pains. It may just be like, okay, right, that wasn't working before, and I want to, get back to this. So, hey, so we'll move on then to Deathstroke number 28. Christopher Priest writing, Diogenes Neves on art. So,
holy editor's notes.
Yeah, do you know that's the thing? Like, there's so many. Like, we're complaining about all the text boxes in Justice League. I feel like Deathstroke for the past 4 or 5 months, like we've been noticing the editor's notes just piling up to a ridiculous amount.
Would anyone like to guess how many is in this one?
Oh God, no. I'll say
through them now.
13, which is a lot for a single comic book. I expect 1 or 2, usually. Matt.
Oh, you're close.
Oh.
No.
No, Matt already said no. At 14.
Oh, damn it! Close.
You undershot.
Oh well, I'm actually almost proud that I almost nailed that. I was one off. I ain't bad.
But there is a lot, and part of me hopes it's just because it's the start of an arc, and they're going, "Hey, people might be jumping on."
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes I feel like they don't need them all. Like some of them, oh, okay, technically, yeah, that did happen in X issue, but I feel like not all of it is.
I think you get rid of half of these easily at the very least.
So I thought this was an interesting issue. I think the revelation that this whole Willow thing with Hope is actually like she's got a split personality, and she actually becomes this other person, and she may actually be the one who killed Antoine at the wedding. That was an interesting twist. I actually really kind of went, oh shit, at that moment of the issue. I thought that was a really nice touch. And
it foreshadows it throughout the whole issue.
Yeah.
We get Jericho, going over the events that led to it.
Yeah. And when it reveals it does this nice thing where it cuts between, again, a few of those previous scenes where you see the wall and she's like, why am I on that wall? Why am I a suspect? And then you see her running out as Rose or running out as Willow and see that. So I like that. I like that stuff in the issue. As always, Deathstroke's a bit more dense, sometimes too much for its own good. But
sometimes I feel like I'm running out of steam with this. But there's plot points that I'm really invested in.
This is the thing. Sometimes I go, oh, but okay. But then in the same issue, I'll go, oh, but there's that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It feels like almost every other issue now, I'm starting to run out of steam on it, and then it pulls me back in. I really enjoyed the annual.
Even in this issue, some of the Rose Willow stuff, I'm like, okay, and then it pulls me back in. But then I've got Deathstroke rediscovering being Deathstroke and the meta commentary of how we all knew it was never going to last.
Yeah. Which is funny because I think I enjoyed the Hope stuff a bit more than I did the Deathstroke stuff in this issue. But, I mean, it's all down to taste, I suppose, more than anything else.
I did like him and Keenan, though.
Him and Keenan was good fun. Good fun little scene. Deathstroke's looking for this nun. That's where he gets to at the end, and we find all this stuff. I do like that Hope is mortified that as Willow she killed 10 men, and Deathstroke hears about this and he's like, "Oh, that's my girl." She's horrified by it. So that's kind of the issue. I feel like so much there's so many little scenes in an issue of Deathstroke compared to most comics, where when I skim through it again, because I always skim through my books again for the most part before we record, just so that I'm not umming and ahhing and thinking about, okay, what was the book about? Because sometimes if I didn't do that, I'll I'll need to look through a few pages and go, oh yeah, that's what this issue was about, because there's too many books in a week. But with Deathstroke, I feel like I go through it and I'm still, by the time I get to the end, I'm struggling to remember what the first few scenes were.
Yeah, no, I get it. This is going to read fantastically as an entire run, though.
Oh, it will. Yeah, no doubt it will.
Because even in this issue, you've got things calling back to the very first issue.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the editor's notes. It's like, see issue 1.
I think it's completely redefined Deathstroke. And even though it's really referential to his Teen Titan stuff, right, from early on, it kind of has done a really good job at building.
This is the thing. It hasn't reinvented the wheel. He's still very recognizably Deathstroke, even when he's had his hero phase. But like I said, they address that how okay, we know it's not gonna last. It's just a phase. but he has elevated it into a way that, okay, no, it's doing something interesting with a solo Deathstroke run that I don't think I've seen before. Whereas usually they're just kind of, hey, here's a bit of a fun assassin romp.
I think it'll read better actually when it's collected. I mean, you can read the whole thing sort of in a binge read. The only thing that might be slightly weaker is the whole idea of how quick this was before he went back to being a killer. I think when you read that as just an arc in one sitting or two, it'll feel really quick because it was just one arc.
Yeah.
For us, that's like 6 months, but in collected form, that's going to be, like an hour.
Also, the whole time travel stuff too. We have him checking out the sword in the future.
Yeah.
Like what's that all about? And then we found out too when they first bought the sword, it was from the future. So it's all this weird stuff going on underneath the surface.
It's all this stuff that we thought we dealt with already. When he had the Speed Force and we did all that, and then oh no, here's some new elements from that we've still got to completely deal with from scratch. And it's like okay, I like that they're adding all these layers even now where we're still getting in. It's a very dense book. There's lots of threads, but it still adds new things and they're still interesting.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. It's weaving like lots of things going on at the same time. There's just sometimes when you get to it and it's like, okay, what was this plot again? Okay, what was going on there? Because remember when we got so confused, like last issue, not the annual, but the last issue, when someone referred to Willow as Rose, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
What's happening? Like we were just so confused.
Because Tara instantly recognizes her.
Yeah. That's the weird thing, though. If this was not a comic book, if this was a TV show, we'd recognise the actor.
We would know.
Yeah, and we would know. In a comic book, though, we don't know until someone says it, or we see her take off the wig like we do in this one, and we see that there's someone else. But so no, it's enjoyable still, but it's Jesus Christ. Like sometimes, like these editors' notes, and then try to remember.
It's definitely something I know I'm going to reread once it's all done. However many issues this goes, I hope it's because this doesn't feel like it's getting towards the end by any means because they're still introducing new ideas. So I hope we've still got a while.
Because you have Icon working with Willow/Rose.
Yeah.
That's still in play. Tara is really coming into her own now too, who she was kind of in the Defiant stuff. She was thrown on the team for Adeline.
And in the annual, we only just introduced the Power Girl stuff to go through.
Yeah.
I do like how that's affecting Deathstroke. That was the catalyst, though. Like, okay, no, all right. What's the point in all this? Because she was what kind of urged him into being a hero, so to speak, in that whole arc in the first place.
She was his consciousness in a lot of ways.
Yeah, so her loss...
Or his conscious, not his consciousness. Consciousness.
But I also like here...
She's what keeps him awake.
Yeah. As opposed to Jericho, who puts him to sleep. On you go, Matt.
Yeah. The last page where he deals with the tariff stuff, where he's like, I never loved you. I took advantage of you, and I'm sorry.
Which is growth.
I'm sorry.
I guess. I guess that's still kind of growth, so you can't fault that.
Yeah, no, I feel like, he goes back to killing people, but he has a sense of remorse that wasn't there before.
He's a slightly better person than he was before. Yeah. He's still, even though he's gone back to killing people and he's Deathstroke the Terminator again, he's still a bit, that touch more relatable, I guess, in that sense. And
as far as like how long this is going to go, we know at the very least he's starting a 6-issue arc in April, so at the very least you're getting till...
We've got this at least till the end of the year.
We should move on to the Swamp Thing Winter Special, #1. Tom King doing the main story with Jason Fabok, and then obviously there's the Len Wein written story, or at least plotted. It wasn't finished. There was no dialogue in the issue itself. You can read the script, of course.
I'll be honest, I just kind of flicked through that half.
Me too.
No, I went through it. When you say flick through it, what do you mean, the script, or do you mean the actual art?
The actual art.
Yeah, well, obviously, I mean, that's kind of what you've done.
Yeah, but I feel like with a lot of these, I could look at it and go, okay, I see, what is going on here. But I was just kind of going, oh yeah, this looks nice.
No, I kind of went through that more than that. I didn't read the whole plotty thing, because it's actually kind of misleading, because it says it's an 80-page giant, but you've really only got about a 30-page Tom King story, and then you've got the unfinished story with just the art, and then you've got the breakdown for that, and then you've got some some art and dedications and stuff like that.
It was letters. More of a Len Wein dedication issue than anything.
Oh, of course, yeah. So Tom King's story is about Swampy, and he's in the snow, and he's protecting a little kid because the snow monster's coming. The kid keeps talking about the snow monster, and Swamp Thing keeps trying to protect him. And a lot of time passes. It keeps saying later. It never tells you exactly how long. It just keeps saying later. Later than this happens. Then later than this happens, and that's kind of it. How did you think about this, Matt?
So a lot of Tom King just severing limbs throughout this one. I mean, Swamp Thing with his hand to make a fire, then the kid gets frostbite, and he's got to hack the foot off. I was like, man, this is going down some dark places that I was not expecting.
Well, I mean, the real question though is, I know how you feel, but this is you. How did you feel about the bear?
Oh, I did not like it. I did like his I'll return you home and all that. Like, I liked that sentiment, but yeah, I don't like having, like, shirtless bear fighter's one thing, right? That's a cartoon. This has a sense of realism to it. It was like, I don't want to spoil anything from Josh Williamson's Birthright, but there's a scene similar to that in Birthright that just comes from out of nowhere.
Oh, is this also with a bear?
Me. Yes, and it affected me. So, you know, but that's main part of that story. But yeah, no, I like King on Swamp Thing. Really, my only real like pass with Swamp Thing is the Snyder and the Charles Soule run. I love that Soule run so much. In fact,
I like the Snyder run a lot. I think it's very good, but the Soule run is much better.
Yeah, I dropped the Soule run after 2 issues.
Oh man, the Soule run's so good. I had him
so much fun.
He still, anytime he comes to my local con and I go through his table, he remembers me as the guy that brought his Swamp Thing run. And I brought it in 2 parts. I had him sign one early in the day, and then I asked him if he'd sign the back half. And yeah, so here I like that King has a completely different take. Like, he really is relishing in the darkness. That I feel like Soule really made him his own superhero.
Swamp Thing
it was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Swamp Thing
this is a horror.
Yeah, which I think Swamp Thing better. I think Tom King is obvious for Swamp Thing. I feel like Tom King doing a Swamp Thing run is inevitable at some point in DC.
Let's be honest though, what is Tom King not obvious for at this point?
Well,
no, but here's why I say that though, because Swamp Thing is a character where you play with the torture, the horror of it. He's a tortured character who like thinks he's a monster. That is so Tom King in like so many ways. That's what he's doing with Mr. Miracle.
I mean, that's Mr. Miracle, but that's not really Batman. That wasn't Grayson. You know, Vision.
I'm not saying everything he's ever written is like that. I'm saying the notable stuff he's done with both Mr. Miracle, and I've not read it, but from what I've heard about Vision, it sounds like he did that with that as well.
Yeah, I'm not picking up. It's not like Snyder, where you think like Snyder's perfect for darkness in that way.
It's a different kind of darkness, though. It was the idea of like questioning your own humanity. That's very much like it's that like raw emotion that Tom King does really well. I don't know. I think he's perfect for Swamp Thing. I don't know. It feels like a perfectly shaped.
I think he's perfect for this version of Swamp Thing, but that's not always something like the Soul Run was Swamp Thing as a superhero essentially, and that was great. So,
yeah, but I've not. I dropped that after 2 issues. What I have read.
But you never even got into the actual like me and Connor are talking about. You just did the Superman story. You know, I
can't remember. Like, but the point is, what I have read is Snyder's Swamp Thing, and I've read a fair chunk of Alan Moore's Swamp Thing.
Right.
And for me, this is Swamp Thing. For me, this is more what Swamp Thing is.
Yeah. Well, if that's what Swamp Thing is, I'm not a big fan of it.
Oh no, I prefer this wildly. This like sad Swamp Thing who's
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I like King a lot. This story is kind of like I got to the end, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm glad it's over.
I mean, I with Matt on the Soul Thing, I love that. I think maybe I prefer that because I think it was a better read in general as a run. But this as an issue, I think is great.
Yeah, this is fantastic. The art's gorgeous as well, of course.
Art, it's Fabok.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So what's the moment everyone realized what was going on?
I actually don't know. Honestly, I feel like the second time we referred to the snow monster and we hadn't seen it yet, I'm like, okay, this is not what it seems.
Yeah,
it was pretty early.
I think the moment I got exactly what it was is when he goes to cut off the foot and you see him start and the kid's screaming, and then on the next page he's fine.
Yeah, so the kid's not really there. It's just Swamp Thing on his own. Like which again adds to the sadness of the story. And it's this eternal thing. But no, everything about it, try to keep warm, the idea of the snow in the winter, and like he's part of the green, and he can't, he needs to get back to spring, which is why the ending's so beautiful, because he's actually back, finally the snow's gone, and he gets to reconnect to the earth and the green and flourish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
No, it's gorgeous. And the panel where he, kills the kid, like obviously you don't see it, but you know he did exactly what he did to the bear. Like you just get that because you saw it earlier. Which is why I think that bear was really clever in terms of setting that up.
Yeah, that bear death was great. That whole spike through the neck.
Yeah.
It's great.
Disagree.
And you get the same sound effect when it happens to the kid.
Slunk.
Yeah. I like how Matt is so against a bear being killed in any way.
I'm not, because again, I understand conservation, but that doesn't mean I have to enjoy it in my hobby. I don't go out there and look for bear death videos. I could separate it.
I like that's something that he doesn't want to do it. It's just like this is a case of survival. It's like this is what
I like the sentiment, and I like that he says, I have to do this, but I will be back for you through the green and return you home for whatever that means. And it sets that up for him later.
It's more, he'll return his essence to the earth in the way that life does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that you can tell he's getting skinnier as it goes on. Like Swamp Thing is getting weaker, and he's getting weaker. And he's and the whole idea that he has to kill his fears, and he's he's inner child essentially, but the idea that to be strong, to survive in this, he has to be a monster, is a really bleak outlook, but it's something that's very touching and moving. It really ties into really again what I think of as Swamp Thing is the classic tragic monster figure who is trying to keep his humanity, but he's struggling to. No, I liked it a lot. Because it was that touching humanity thing and that idea of becoming what you fear to survive, and I thought all that was really, really poignant. So no, I dug the shit out of this. So and then the unfinished story was a fun flick through to see kind of just sort of what the story was, because obviously it was meant to be the part of a 6-issue series, so ultimately it's never going to be that satisfying because it's not finished. But when I glanced through the layouts for it, because it was because the reason why there's no dialogue because he never actually wrote the dialogue, but he wrote the breakdown for it. And there was a couple of things in there. Like at one point he said that Commissioner Gordon says something like, "Oh, that the crime scene looked like a scene out of a Wes Craven movie." That made me chuckle. And then the really sad part.
You want to explain that to those that would know?
What is it? Explain. Wes Craven's a horror director.
Didn't Wes Craven direct the Swamp Thing movie?
Oh yeah, you're right. He did. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
Oh, Pete, come on, man.
It was terrible. It was garbage. Why would I remember that?
Okay, but
that's what the reference was.
Yeah, he just didn't pluck random horror director. There was a reason why.
I'll be honest, that never occurred to me at all. I have jettisoned that movie out of my memory. I'd forgotten it existed until you just said, "Didn't he direct the Swamp Thing movie?" Trust me, don't watch it, guys. It's garbage. It is the worst thing ever. You're better off watching Batman and Robin again. Seriously.
Yo, do you know Arnold Schwarzenegger pays them $1 a year to keep his Mr. Freeze suit?
That's the best thing I've heard all day.
What?
It's great.
Explain that.
Yeah, so when the filming ended, he loved that suit so much, he pays Warner Brothers $1 a year to keep it.
Is that it? Just $1?
But why not just sell it to him outright? Why is it a renting situation?
I don't know.
It's not like they're making loads of cash off this. Hey, give us this much every year and you can keep it. It's like, no, $1. It's like, they might as well have just given it to him.
Maybe he didn't want it for free. Maybe he wanted to pay for it. He felt like it was a piece of art. I don't know. Schwarzenegger's a weird dude.
You don't rent art though. You buy art. One lump sum.
I wonder if it's $1 a year. I wonder if it's a case of Warner want it back when he dies to put in that could be it. Well, with all the archives and stuff.
Yeah.
The real sad part, though, anyway, is to bring this back round to what's in the book. At the end of the breakdown, it was very casual the way it's written. Actually, he occasionally says things like, "Oh, this is the big page where everyone will be excited because damn Batman's there," or something like that. It was very casual. But at the end, it's like he's like, "Oh yeah, so this is the big cliffhanger. Batman's there, blah blah blah," and then the last little phrase is, "See you next time." And I went, oh, I feel sad now. So that's here's something I did not expect to see in a comic book this week from DC was Wolverine and Hulk in a DC Comics page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. There's a bit of tribute art towards the back.
Yeah, I like that DiDio commissioned it though. Like, it wasn't like DC. It was Dan DiDio commissioned this art for the family. You know, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. But Wolverine's in it. There's a little Hulk toy on the desk, and obviously Len Wein's there himself. So, was that
a little dead man?
Little dead man.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I like they gave it to his wife as well, the original.
Yeah. Which it tells you, which is cool.
Yeah.
So no, I really enjoyed the main story. I thought the final sort of breakdown in the art for it was a nice little sort of oddity to kind of explore and kind of look at. But the main story I thought was really good. So. All right, well, we'll move on then to Batman White Knight #5. Sean Murphy doing everything because he's Sean Murphy.
Hey, not colours.
Okay.
No, that's all Ainsworth.
All right, sure. Okay, not literally everything.
Speaking of things that I completely love, it's a series. Man.
When this was announced and Matt was like, eh.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I think we were all kind of skeptical when it was.
It's Murphy. I'm going to check it out because it's Murphy. But the fact that it's told this really compelling Batman story just through 5 issues, and with the way that this one goes, it makes me wonder where's it going to go in the last 3? Because we know how it started, so are we going to get resolution to that? Or
that's the thing. I don't know at this point. Is this going to be a case of reverting to Joker and it'll be, this is how things are always going to be? Or is it going to be a story of we can better ourselves? I don't know yet.
And I like that. And just the character beats here with Dick and Bruce getting into a fight and then Barbara having to... I love that she's the one that splits them apart and then, that's what I'm looking for. She really comes down on him for fighting. I was like, you two... You should know better. Why do I always have to get in between you two? So it really adds to that family aspect here, It
does. They're not, they'll fight and stuff, but they're still a family as well.
Exactly. And I like that Dick is trying to talk sense into him, and Batman doesn't want to hear it. And as someone that goes through that on a weekly basis, as you know, I'm the type that once I make up my mind, as you guys well know, that's it. So I'm for the first time in a very long time, I'm relating to Batman going, I understand where he's coming from going, but no, this is what Joker does. He lures everybody into a false sense of security, and then he strikes. How come I'm the only person that's seeing this?
Yeah. And we also see that his medication to keep him sane is actually starting to make him sick. That's teased early on.
And he basically is like, it's just a flesh wound. It's fine, as he's coughing up blood.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll go see a doctor, and Holly's like, I am a doctor.
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting that Batman goes to see Harley, the original Harley that he's with right now, and basically says, hey, I kind of let you stick around with him because you kind of kept him, not sane, but not quite as awful as he could have been.
You stopped him going off the deep end entirely.
That's kind of, why you were kind of tolerated as existing. Because both me and you know exactly, this is not him at full capacity. If he actually goes completely off the deep end, as you say, we don't even know what he might even do. So I did like some of that stuff. Obviously, you're still dealing with Neo Joker with Mad Hatter, and they're trying to figure things out. They use Ivy to get into the manor. Cool. They almost discover the Batcave because at the end, hey, they're sensing more rooms beneath the mansion, but they have to sort of run off before they get a chance to.
I like how they do that, and it says, oh well, they can sense stale air. Plants can, and Hatter goes to Neo Joker. How'd you know that? He's like, well, I can kind of see into Ivy's mind, which I thought that was a fun little take, and I'm sure it'll pay off later.
Yeah.
I think Neo Joker did figure out it was the Batcave because she's as they run away, it's like hooligans, really? That's a bad impression of a rich guy. She's kind of onto him a bit. Yeah,
because Bruce, you can see that he's still just being Bruce, but then he jumps out in a pink robe to try and pretend that he's scared that there's someone in his house.
As he's peeking around the corner, his shadow, he's still somehow Batman.
Yeah, it's got the little ears almost. How do you do that?
How about the fact that after so Dick and Barbara are working with what do they call it? What's the acronym?
The GTO.
GTO. And see, that's just me think of GTFO now. But anyway, so they show up and they're chasing after Neo Joker and that in their various cars. And there's just at the end of the page, Bruce like opens the pink robe like it's Superman ripping his shirt open to reveal the Batsuit, and it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
But it also wasn't there earlier, so people were roasting Snyder. Go ahead, Connor.
That's it, because you see him in the room before with the robe half off, and it's like, okay, clearly bare-chested. And then, so he got back into the suit and then put the robe back over the top just so he could have that moment.
Yeah. And he kind of tries to defend that. He goes, or I just messed up. And so I thought that was pretty funny. It is a kind of cool moment, though. The fact that he's doing this in a pink robe and it still looks cool. Like, it's the most anti-Batman thing in the world doing, you know. But yeah.
My favorite part of this show is probably all the car chase stuff that comes after this, though.
That was pretty cool.
You got Montoya. It feels very Mad Max. You've got Montoya, Bullock, you've got Babs, Dick, and you've got Duke, all in their own cars, like chasing after Neo Joker.
All in their own Batmobiles.
Yeah. Well, you see, it is, but the Batmobiles in this comic are so normal cars. Comparatively speaking,
until Batman shows up.
And
they're a bit more toned down.
But they're all in their own cars and they're all chasing after them. There's a lot of fun action stuff here, which actually ends in. I'm not actually sure how the bridge gets so destroyed, because Batman chases Neo Joker off a bridge, and then after he lands, he turns around and you just see like the bridge collapsing.
Well, it's the big boat goes into the
the big boat. Yeah, and we already know Gotham's crumbling as it is because
all the money. Yeah, you're right.
From the Batman fund was being funneled back into the 1%, right? So I took that was also a take on the infrastructure. Like, this bridge could have survived it had it been taken care of, but it wasn't.
I never caught into that when I first read this, because I mean, I'm seeing the boat go into the pillar now, but on the main page where it's collapsing, it actually looks like it's collapsing from the top. It looks like it's splitting apart. Rather than because...
It does, It is on the page before where you see it go into the pillar.
Yeah, I never caught that the first time, though, but when I saw that big, the big panel of it, it looks like it almost looks like something's landed on top of it from like high up.
It does. It's where it's hit the pillar and then it's crumbled in the middle from the top without the support, but it does look funny if you didn't catch that before, I agree.
Yeah. So that's all happening. So Gordon's officially anti-Batman. He's like, put out a warrant for his arrest. This is time.
He's no longer a vigilante. He's a super criminal.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, so you get Batman tracking down Freeze to find out what his parents are doing in a photo with Nazis. And you've got Neo Joker and Mad Hatter setting up some big cannon looking thing.
Well, they end up going to Freeze's old lair because it looks like a freeze cannon.
That's a good point. I don't know what their goal is here, but they've got a big...
I don't either.
Find out.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with this pair. They're so unpredictable, like intentionally unpredictable, that it could be anything, their plan, and I love that.
Yeah. It definitely emphasises the big cannon, though. So I think that's going to come into play in some respect.
It's got a great design, hasn't it?
You brought up Batman and Robin earlier, but wasn't that the plot of Mr. Freeze, Batman and Robin?
Yeah, he's got a big freeze cannon.
And then, given that we're using Jack Napier as the name, he's not opposed to borrowing from that series.
Weird. That is so weird if we go down that path.
But I mean, I can't see them freezing Gotham, but I definitely see them using it as a wedge point. I don't want to say exactly a hostage because that's not exactly, but Also, we get the really funny visual of Batman getting into Neo Joker's backpack, and it's just the Clayface brain. And even Batman's like, "Oh, what the hell was that?"
Yeah, he's like, "Ugh."
That was pretty good. Yeah, I really love this book.
Yeah, I thought it was a great issue. My favorite stuff was definitely Batman and Harley and their relationship. I think that's a great take on that relationship. I think it's so fascinating.
Well, and then even if you think about it in the grander sense, like, she's kind of jumped all over the place. She's become this anti-hero just for being Joker's sidekick. So it would kind of make sense, like, this was all on purpose.
This is like part of that journey.
Yeah, is that her kind of alliance with Batman is what kind of led her to becoming an anti-hero. And yeah.
Yeah, no, I like this issue. I didn't love it. You two definitely see this more than I do. I was a bit more down the last issue. I think this one was better. I still think there's just some core ideas, but just for whatever reason, they're just never going to sit that well with me.
Because you're an awful person.
Yeah.
But also, Harley trying to teach Joker how to fight. Well, Jack how to fight. I thought that was a fun sequence. And he's like, not the face, you know. I'm a council member now. I can't show up with a black eye.
I love that she's like, yeah, well, just put your makeup on. And obviously, there's the nice double meaning of that.
I thought this issue was better than the last one, though. I think it just mostly flowed from interesting scene to interesting scene. Whereas last time there was a lot of like stuff with Napier making speeches and, you know, public displays that I just wasn't as into as much. Whereas this, the action was fun. And it was doing crazy things with like Mad Hatter and Ivy and all these other things that I was kind of getting into. So I think it's got a lot of interesting little ideas to explore. But I love it. Like, I'm definitely not as high on it as you two are. Swamp Thing and Winter Special was better. That's what I'm saying. So are we also Oink while we're on things that I'm right about?
No, I'm officially Switzerland's no longer Switzerland, and it's ink.
I like how at the start he was like, I don't care, but it's probably that one. Now at the end he's like, I'm taking a stand. It's ink.
Yeah, I'm on Connor's side. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Yeah.
I think you're less on my side and more just not on the side that Peter's on.
No, it's just because we disagreed on something else, so now he just wants to be on your side because it's more unified that way. That's all this is.
Yeah.
I see through Sarad.
To be fair, he did say ink right from the start.
Huh?
Aye, but it's definitely gotten stronger. It's gotten stronger as the episodes went on.
It's mainly out of spite. You don't know, I do things out of spite.
So that is the books this week, which will take us on to our favourites, which is obviously picking our best panel / moment of the week, best art, best cover, and of course top 5 books. So, Connor, what is the best panel / moment of the week?
Oh god, I forgot to think about this. Yeah, come back to me. Sorry.
Oh god, Matt.
I prepared everything else, but I forgot we do panel.
Yeah, mine's from White Knight. It's that Mad Max image that you were talking about. They're all in the cars.
Oh, 2-page spread.
Like the cockpits. Yeah, and
2-page layout
that symbol
is maybe more accurate.
Out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks really cool.
No, that's fine. Yeah, this is actually kind of a tougher week. I actually think I'm going to go with the Swamp Thing Winter Special. I think the page where he realises he has to kill the kid is a mad pick.
That's good.
Because it's just such an awful idea that when he realises that's what he has to do, he has to overcome it and do it. And the kid's actually acting scared was just too much of a kick, an emotional kick for me to not pick that. So, and of course Fabok's art was like, you know, running circles around. Yeah. Connor?
I'm good now. Yeah, I got something. I'm gonna go with from Nightwing. It's the panel where Dick's stripping and the panels are all inside him. Where the panels, you know, because I just love the design layout.
You love the dick. You love the dick. Just say it.
Yeah. No, that's typical. We went over that earlier, but this is specifically the layouts that I'm praising.
So, yeah, the more I see of the Judge, the more I like his look with the glasses and the suit. He's always got a glass of something. Like
now that you know there's something kind of horrifying behind the glasses as well.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, the glasses aren't just for show. There's not just to look cool. It's like they're hiding something.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. All right, so best cover of the week, Matt.
Green Arrow. I just love the way that's designed.
That's not bad.
Yeah, but the red of Emmy looks like she's pulling the arrow out, and you got Ollie's face in there in that silhouette.
There's a few good choices actually.
Red on black.
Yeah,
there is a few good choices.
There's a few good choices this week.
Just because I know we don't do pick variants, but I want to give a shout out.
Oh no, we do now.
We do now.
We do?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the 1-in-1. You know, like they're even.
Oh, I think I missed this. You decided this when I wasn't here and never told me.
Yeah, important things happen when you weren't here. When you're not here, things happen. Things move forward. There's progress.
All right. Well, if that's the case, I'll save that because that changes my choice.
All right. What's your choice then? You're next.
Okay. So if we're going to have variants now, I'm going with the variant for Justice League, with Batman on with the bones behind him.
All right.
Yeah,
I think that's a gorgeous cover. I was gonna go with Green Arrow if I thought it was just the regular one, but that's better.
Hmm.
All right. Here's the thing, though. I never remember what the variants were because I can't see them quickly. So
you have to look at the manual.
It wasn't one of those. But for me, it wasn't one of those times where the variants are obviously better than.
Nah, it's not one of those times.
No,
it's not one of those times at all. It's between Green Arrow and Swamp Thing, really, to be honest, more than anything. Batman's pretty good, and Superman's not bad, Nightwing's not bad, but I think I'm going to go with Green Arrow as well. It's the most stylized. It's got a nice bit of emotion in it.
Yeah, it's a great cover.
Seeing it on the comic stand, it really drew my eye to it instantly. So.
All right, best art, Connor.
Yeah, this is a tough week for best art because this is a week where you got Murphy, Ferreyra, Fabok, and Chang.
Yep.
Oh boy. Oh man, I'll give it to. Ferreyra can have it. Why not?
Cool. Yeah. I think. You got Jones as well, actually.
You do. I didn't
even think of that.
Joe, that's how good this week is that I overlooked Joel Jones.
Ferreyra is great. Oh, I'm going with Fabok because Fabok's so rare these days. He's not in any ongoings. It's a treat to see it. Fair. I liked all the stuff with the snow, just to sort of make it sort of distinct as well. But Ferreyra and Chang would be like right behind.
It's a really strong week.
Yeah, Matt.
So normally I go with Murphy, but this was kind of a by the book kind of issue of White Knight. But I really like Joelle Jones's art in Batman this time through. There's something different.
It's funny how last time you didn't like it in Batman.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I don't know. This one it felt more refined, more what I'm used to out of Jones. So
strange.
Yeah.
All right, so top 5 books of the week then. This should be an interesting mix of stuff here. Matt.
Number 1, White Knight. Number 2, Nightwing. Number 3, Green Arrow. Number 4, scrolling. Number 4, Batman. Number 5, Superman.
All right, Connor.
I'm having the same top 3 with White Knight, Nightwing, Green Arrow. This is where I break away. I'll go for Deathstroke in 4. And I think the Swamp Thing in 5.
Okay, my number 1 is Swamp Thing. My number 2 is Nightwing. My number 3 is Green Lanterns. My number 4... Matt must making noises at me.
Yeah, you really love Green Lanterns, man.
I do.
Yeah, it was fine, but I don't think that was top 5 material.
Green Lanterns. What can I say? And then... What else have we got here? And then I think Green Arrow and then Justice League in 5th place. That's what I'm going with. Alright, okay, cool. There you go, that's the top 5s week. Which leads me to tell you what's coming next week. We have the one-shot, the before the final issue of Metal, we have the one-shot Dark Knight Rises, The Wild Hunt. That's coming. We have Detective Comics 974, we have Action Comics 997. We have Wonder Woman number 40, we have Flash 40, we have Supergirl 18, we have New Superman and the Justice League of China number 20, which is the first one that's got with that title. We also have issue 1 of Sideways, which is the next new age of DC Heroes. This is DC's Spider-Man, so we'll see how that goes. We also have Batman and the Signal number 2, if it's not been pushed.
I'll have a look.
Because it was
I'm looking right now, I'm not seeing it.
No. You're not seeing it, yeah. That's funny because it was week 1 last month, and I already thought it was kind of weird that it was another week this month, but so it's been pushed as well.
I'm not upset about that, considering I didn't finish the first one.
Oh yeah, why would you care?
Yeah.
Also out next week, Batgirl and the Birds of Prey number 19, Titans 20, Bane Conquest 9, Hal Jordan the Green Lantern Corps number 38. Which I don't know. Are you guys doing Hal Jordan now that you're both caught up?
I'm not quite caught up. I still have to read the but. I'm not going to be here next week, so by the time
that's true.
We do it next, probably.
So by the time we get to week 4, you very well might be. All right, Justice League of America number 24 is out, Ragman number 5 is out, and Red Hood and the Outlaws number 19. So there's a mix of stuff next week.
And of course, we will be covering The Young Monster in Love.
That we will be. That came out this week. We were doing that next week with next week's books, so you can look forward to that. But that is episode 90 of Comics from the Multiverse. Oink. The Oink episode of Comics from the Multiverse.
That's it. You know, you have like Civil War or things like that. Battle lines are drawn.
Yeah.
This is Oink versus Ink.
Oink versus Ink.
Pick your side, people.
And I feel like if Pete's Stark and Connor's Captain America, I feel like I'm Punisher and I'm going to be dismissed from the team. Like. All right, man, we get it. First, you didn't have a side, but now you've really gone too far.
I like how you made Pete Iron Man because he was the one that was clearly the wrong.
Well, also he's the one that's most like a robot, so if it's,
I will not have my name besmirched in this fashion, thank you very much. So that rounds up the show. Obviously, let us know what you thought of this week's comics in the comments, on Twitter, at DC Comics Podcast, if you will. Get us on patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. There's a link to that in the description, of course. There's a monthly bonus episode. If there's a vote for this month's bonus episode, you have until the day before next week's episode's recorded to vote on that if you're a patron. We got 4 books up there. Me and Carl do that in the monthly sometime, like the week after, give or take. Somewhere in there.
When we squeeze it in, basically.
Yeah. So that vote's still up, so you've got 6 days left when this goes up to still vote if you haven't already. Of course, is there anything else to shove down your throats? I mean, let you know, give you information on things that might be of your interest. No, I think that's us. So, of course, once again, thank you very much for listening or watching it. We always appreciate it. We love you loads. Keep reading DC Comics, and always remember to never get lost in the Speed Force.
Nathaniel Desk is my hero.
Oink!